Okay.
And go live. Okay. And okay. It says we are live. Just
Hey everybody. So
and there we go. Yep.
I'll just do it's been a while since we last played Curse of Strahd.
Been 2 weeks.
Yeah. I'm still working on our next game. But I figured, since it's been about 4 sessions, we would sort of cover what's been going on because, there's a lot that went down. So
yeah, so
I think
Well, before we do our recap, we'll say who is here. Unfortunately, we did not get everybody again. So Boone and Letter, who play Sugash and Ricky, are not with us tonight. But on the plus side, we've got Eri Marie with us, who plays Corey, and she was not with us last time. So yeah, we can actually spend some time actually talking about Corey.
Yeah,
Because she was here for the first part of it.
And as for everybody else,
she had to drop.
Yeah, everybody else, in the way of Master TP10, who plays as Mimi, the Tiefling Cleric. We also have Realm Wars, aka Brian, aka Kedrot, the Dragonborn Fae Paladin. And, of course, our showrunner, Danny, Rashutsu Rises, who also plays as the Aarakocra Barbarian Arc.
Our dead Aarakocra Barbarian Arc. I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, we will get to that very soon. But last but not least, we have our Warlock Sorcerer multiclass, Kira, played by Tara's Moon, aka Jen.
Crying in the distance.
Yes.
and Strahd's personal punching bag.
Yes, and she's not sick this time.
Yeah, she got better.
And also, Jordan, I don't think punching bag is the right word. I think blood bank is the right word.
Blood bank is more appropriate. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Give me that neck.
Right.
No! Get away from me!
Alright, but either way, so yeah, let's I guess let's just start off with the recap from, because the first chill stream we did, we literally we recapped from the beginning until up to that time. It was about session 6. So we're going to recap from session 7 to where we are right now. So
And we can also recap from session 1 to session...
No, we don't need to go. We don't need to go all that way.
No way. I mean, we literally have an entire stream for that.
Yeah,
so
so
this is just a continuation of that idea.
Alrighty, so Jordan,
Jordan,
begin your narration.
Alrighty.
It's been a while.
Session 7, Intrigue. When we last left off, our hero survived a deadly scuffle from Strahd von Zarevich. With a successful act of parley from Corey, everyone returned to Barovia village with their lives, and a fully revived and transformed Kedrot, now looking more Fae-like than before, hinting at his transformation, which is a feature in Grim Hollow we decided to incorporate into this campaign. We'll get to that very soon. After agreeing to follow up on Ismark and Irina's request to bring them to the village of Kretsk, the party ran into various oddities. Chief among them, Ricket falling unconscious in the tavern, an army of ghosts marching towards Castle Ravenloft, and an old woman selling pastries the next morning. On their way to rendezvous with Ismark and Irina, they found advanced weapons and sigils left behind by the Knights of Argen-Vastholt, as well as the 4 monolithic pillars they saw earlier. Once inside its protective field, Sugash updates the party on what he managed to read from the Tome of Strahd in, to put it lightly, layman's terms. Everyone decided to try and gain more allies on their side on the way to Kretsk, but not before turning their attention to the old mill. Having been warned by Erig in a letter, Ricket was sent to investigate the premises, and found the proprietors of the mill were nothing but bone-grinding night hags. As the party fought the butchers upstairs and downstairs, they stopped just in time to see the old woman they met in Barovia. She has a hostage, and the coven is back together. So Kira had the bright idea to, disguise herself as Strahd.
Yep. One of my greatest features of being a warlock.
Yeah, would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Okay, so as much as I love warlocks, they don't get a lot of spell slots, but they do get a lot of invocations. And one of those is called Mask of Many Faces, which allows me to cast Disguise Self once per day for free. And then I used the cantrip prestidigitation. I can't say that one.
Prestidigitation.
Yeah, to like make like a little swarm of like little bats to make it look like that Kira disappeared.
And,
then
in her place, Rose Strahd.
Right. And then, like, when we got up, I gave the DM here some lines to read, because, disguise himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was something that we went back and forth on.
Yeah, and then we went upstairs. Quote-unquote Strahd is like, so you all gathered here. And, like, once again, I used prestidigitation with Eldritch Blast, because I knew it wasn't going to... my Eldritch Blast does not hurt my ally. So basically, I use word to turn my Eldritch Blast from the bright yellow to like a deep gooey red.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, okay, we got to get out of here. Fuck, they got another hostage. Okay, I got this. Yo. Then I had to use my cantrip message to tell Sagash, like, yo, it's me, Kira. Do not fucking attack me. And then I messaged Rickett when I got close to him, the same thing, like, yo, tell Ark, tell Kadra, it's me. Because, like, he's got that telepathy thing going on. So we're like, okay, we'll get the hostage out of here. And then I was like, okay, now I gotta get this boy. So I was like, okay, the hags really like gold. So I was like, okay, here's 10 gold, because I, need a new butler for my castle, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm. So, they went back to the monoliths, and Kira dropped her disguise, which Sugash was like, he was super hyped by the whole thing, and he just released all of his excitement once you guys made it to safe zone, and you also reprimanded Ricky because,
boy,
I will say, Letter did a great job playing Ricky in that moment, because while he was right that the hags are dangerous, what he did was foolhardy by making the first attack instead of going straight back to you guys first and reporting what he found. And when you guys tried to, teach him right from wrong, he didn't take it. So the fact that he roleplayed his character not taking any responsibility for his actions was really cool. Mm-hmm. I liked that.
Plus, not for nothing, all week while I was at work, usually I'm listening to music and stuff while I'm working, but this week, I was like, I feel like re-listening to, our Curse of Strahd adventure, and it totally makes sense why Ricky would act that way, because if you remember when we ran into Casimir, it was like, we were all trying to reason with him. He wouldn't listen. Ricky pretty much had to, verbally pimp smack him. But one of the things that he mentioned when he was talking to Casimir was, that Ricky, in all of his time, he has seen people die due to inaction. And he's like, I am not going to allow that to happen. He told that to Casimir. And that's essentially what he did at the mill. He's like, oh, if I don't do something, this guy's going to die. So it was totally in character.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so, it was...
What he did saved his life. Yeah, saved Valentine's life.
Yeah, it was absolutely in character. It was crazy. It damn near got us all killed, but it made sense for Ricky's character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's more dangerous is that, for those of you unfamiliar with how hags in general work in D&D, individually they're very dangerous, but if you get an entire coven together, give or take about 3... their challenge rating increases, and they also get a pool of spells that they each share with each other. Meaning, if Kira didn't do what she did, they would have been fucking screwed.
Yeah, that would have been... It would have been the end of the campaign. They would have killed us, no questions asked.
It would have been a TPK, which I was afraid of, but... we have smart players in our group.
Yeah, that's why...
Do we, though?
I mean,
And that's when Kira revealed that she is quite the trickster princess.
it's like, I like to imagine you guys are smart.
I am not smart.
Shut the. But your trick helped save the party. If that's
Yeah.
not intelligent, I don't know what is. So
And unfortunately, I'm not allowed to do that again.
at least in Strahd's eyes.
Strahd found it funny the first time.
Yeah, he
If you
found it
do
funny the first
again-
time, but
You could have at least made me look a little more sexy.
yeah, you
Fuck
you didn't even get my nose right.
Fuck off!
I don't think that's a wise thing to tell Strahd.
It's like,
All right.
it's like, please leave me alone. You're
Okay,
giving me a
okay. So
headache.
moving on.
Yeah. So session 8.
Session 8, yes. Alright, let me get the thing open. Alright. Session 8, here's to us.
Boy.
So, we should mention, in the previous session, they also messed up, Burgomaster Blogovich's, campaign rally, and they made friends with one Fiona Wachter, who is, his political opponent, rival, and they decided, hey, we should go back to the Sarah encampment and report and check in on them. But around session 8, here's to us. Let's read the recap. When we last left off, the party fought the night hags that occupied the old mill, and while the coven got back together, Kira cleverly disguised herself as Strahd to escape with the 2 hostages and their lives. Out of danger, they made their way back to the town of Blocky to witness the Burgomaster's rally, which they, respectfully, sabotaged with the help of his political rival, Lady Fiona Wachter. They were also christened as the Tarot Court. So, yeah, our party has a name now, the Tarot Court.
It took us 8 sessions to do it, but we did it.
And by the way, Jordan, if it's okay with you, may I read off the tarot cards to remind everybody?
We'll do that after the recap.
Okay.
It's really quick. Hang on. She offered to help shut down the Night Hags' business in return for their support in her campaign. As night fell, Corey, Sugash, and Kira dreamed vividly. Corey dreamt about the day she led Virtus Lenore. Sugash was visited by the spirit of his father, Sugan Simon Belmondo, which I think Letter made a dick joke about, but anyway, I don't see it. Only Kira was visited by Strahd, who told her a rather confusing plan with her in the center. The next morning, the party endeavored to visit the Vistani at their encampment, and found Rahadin, his right-hand man, sitting by the campfire with Stanimir's family. And this is the point when the campaign started really getting started. Okay, so, essentially what happened is Rahadin brought all of the consorts of Strahd, basically his most, revered and respected, members of his court, in the form of Ludmilla, Anastasia, and Volenta. But chief among them was not only Garl the Undying, but also Kedrat's arch-nemesis, Durna the Cold-Hearted. And he's an Ixie who seems to have some sort of beef with his patron, Ilusen. So they essentially held them all down while berating them and saying things like, oh, you don't care about the people in Barovia, you just want the glory for yourself, which the party vehemently denied. But not only did the party make some mistakes, like not telling Ismark or Irina that they had their father's letter, like, he's the whole reason that they're there and they didn't think to tell them. And also, Rickett is not Rickett at all. In fact, he was the boy that he said that he replaced, Ricky. Which begins, or rather confirms, that he is a transformed specter of a human. And the reveal of Ricky is probably the one moment that shocked the rest of the party. Not to mention, my brother Alec guest played a character called Aster. He's a bard who's in the same college as Erig, the College of Adventurers. They're essentially like the prime jack of all trades of all bards that was in Grim Hollow, and he told me he wanted to play a sort of Yasker Dandelion character. You know, a bard who's very good with his words, very charismatic, hilarious, and something of a coward, but not to the point where he won't help the party. And we've only known Aster for a short while, but he...
We already protect him.
Yeah, everybody loved him, including the audience.
We want hashtag bring Aster back.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not hard to like a bard.
Exactly. That being said, sorry, Kira, but you mentioned that you had tarot cards for the tarot court.
Yes. Okay, and this will also include characters we have met so far. Starting from the top, Ark is the tower. Kira is the lovers. Kedrod has a new card assigned to him. Previously, he was the king of coins, but now he is death, which means transformation. Mimi is still the high priestess. Corey is the hierophant. Sugash is the chariot, which we will talk about later down the line. Ricky also has a new card. He is the Seven of Swords. Aster is the Page of Cups. Casimir is the Knight of Cups. Irina is Strength. Ismark is the King of Swords. Sergei is the Sun. Blinsky is the King of Coins. Eric is the Eight of Coins. Vargas is the Ten of Swords. Lady Wachter is the Queen of Wands. And of course, I finally found a card for Rahadin.
Rahadin.
Yeah. Strahd is the Devil, and Rahadin is the Knight of Wands.
Okay.
Alrighty. Of course, you mentioned Sergei, but we're gonna jump ahead a bit and head into session 9, The Wisdom of Flowers.
Yeah, this is where I fucked up.
Yeah, which reads, when we last left off, the Terror Court came face to face with Rahadin and Strahd's consorts, where they laid bare the party's weaknesses and secrets. Most damning of all, Ricket's identity as the ghost of Ricky. Engaging in combat with Garl the Undying's orcs and Durna the Cold-Hearted, as well as some vampire spawns, Irina fell in battle, forcing Ismark to retreat with returning Eric to patch her up. Walking along with him was his friend Aster, a fellow bard with adventurous talents and a propensity to keep the mood light. Together, the 8 party members defeated Garl one last time after he was miraculously freed from his curse by Durna. Unfortunately, Durna himself escaped on his steed, armed with the legendary Void Blade. After the fight, Eric reassures the Terror Court that Barovia needs them, and sends Aster with them to go check on the Wizard of Wines, where they discovered it was being overrun by Baba Lysaga's druids and blights.
I couldn't kill things with fire in there.
You were literally in a winery.
Yes.
Like, shatter and dangerous fire spells
Yeah, it's like
would probably
TPK.
explode the place.
Yeah, and let alone probably a TPK, because we'd be right in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's why I kind of had Kedrod.
So, it's like, do you want the party to die?
No.
Yes.
Like, that was our whole reasoning. Like, do you want to kill your party?
No.
Yes.
That's why I kind of had.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's why it's like I had like a thing on the side that Kedrod tells Kira, don't burn or things, please.
Yeah. It's like in every other circumstance, yeah, you're more than welcome to cast those spells, but keep in mind you're doing this for a family that needs the wine business.
Yeah.
And they also need their building intact, because it isn't just something that you can just wish back together, you know?
Yeah, that's why Kira restrained herself and chose cold.
I don't like that choice of words, restrained herself.
I did. Well, you know what I mean.
Guys, I think Kira Faye Kirasame is a closet arsonist.
Shut up.
It's just something which the gold dragon blood does.
No. That would be the red dragon.
True.
What
Well,
you think?
all I've got to say is wee woo, wee woo, wee woo.
Just be glad Kira has golden blood and not red blood, okay?
Yes, but it was in this session that they discovered that the Mardikovs, who are the proprietors and owners of the Wizard of Wines, are actually were-ravens. And they also lead a faction known as the Keepers of the Feather, which we will then recap in session 10, Off to the Races. After arriving at the Wizard of Wines, the Terror Court eventually made their way down to the wine cellar, where they discovered a shocking revelation. The raven that darted its way downstairs was actually a were-raven boy named Claudio Tomescu, and he was trying to stop the druids from locating the Golthias staff. Luckily, the party managed to recover it first, and they catch a couple more druids upstairs by surprise. Ricky was very nearly claimed by the Mists of Barovia. Yeah, Ricky actually almost died. Which is ironic because he died before.
Yeah, but he didn't. He got better.
Yeah.
He got better.
Yes. But Mimi acted quickly and gave him a potion to help him regain his strength. Ark and Kira destroyed the staff, and Corey landed the final blow on the berserker that nearly did Ricky in. But the party was unable to capture the druid who fled. With the winery saved, the party stayed the night as they learned more of Baba Lysaga and her history with the Keepers of the Feather, a group of freedom fighters who can transform into ravens. Ark, curious of his ability to understand Druidic, discovers he was actually reborn, and he appeared to have been experimented on before his death. Before he can make sense of it, Aster woke everyone up to help search for a missing Kira who was abducted by an unseen but very familiar individual. Strahd appeared before her, and told her that the party was chosen to be sacrifices to help him break free from the kingdom of Barovia, and that she is the reincarnated form of Tatiana. It didn't matter if Kira lived or died, because his love had returned to him, but her mind was wiped clean of that memory.
Fuck you!
So guys, this is pretty much where we're back to the present. So the next morning, you guys get filled in. Oh, before we move on though, Aster probably had the ballsiest moment out of everyone, and he was the guest player. Like, he was the first one who found Kira unconscious by Strahd. And Strahd actually, he doesn't talk like this normally. He talks something more like this. It's just a role he plays to keep people guessing. And Aster went up to him and said, basically, I don't take kindly to rapists, so let Kira go. And he's held Strahd by sword point, and Strahd was so impressed by his bravery that he just let him live.
It's like, yeah, that was like literally when the session ended, like in the Discord, we were just constantly just making jokes about how Aster just had like the biggest balls out of the entire party. Yeah. I mean, like, if you watch South Park, you've seen the episode where Stan's dad, in order to get pot, literally exposed his testicles to radiation to get him so big that he had to carry him around in a wheelbarrow. That was Aster right there. That's how big his balls are.
Yeah. And I find it funny. I don't know if I should, never mind. Oh.
What's up?
Never mind. Words. They're hard. Words are hard.
Oh, it's fine. Although, along with Aster, bravely defending Kira, the party all managed to find her, without her memories of her discussion with Strahd, because he, again, wiped her memory with some sort of spell, after biting her.
Poo-poo brain.
I kind of asked her, like, did you really need a bite me to cast a spell on me? Seriously?
But yes, moving on.
Like, I was hungry.
Copper, excuse me. You're kind of talking over me. Copper, Kira's spectral dog, per her pact of the chain, revealed himself to be the spirit of Sergei von Zarevich, Strahd's brother. And in the session after session 9, the party went over to Kretsk and went to make their first wine delivery. And along the way, they got a few more details about what they need to do. And they went over to the Grey Gopher Inn, which was owned by a character I actually made for the campaign specifically, because Kretsk didn't have anything like shops or inns. It was kind of bare bones, so I decided to make a character named Elisabetta Lanston. And she was actually kind enough to give everyone who, escaped Barovia, because Barovia itself was under lockdown, under a quote-unquote plague. She managed to give them all jobs. So, the Vastani sisters of the Blood of the Vine tavern, Doru, the vampire spawn that they helped cure over in the church, and his father is here too. And there's also some other NPCs that they have yet to meet, but they also have a bit of importance. But that'll be covered next session. So this was the session where Ark and Sugash both equally had some therapy sessions. So let's talk about Sugash first, because he has some unspoken anxiety issues that comes with the territory of being given this responsibility, that he is a part of this long line of monster hunters, and he's been essentially training his whole life to go after Strahd, his family's mortal enemy. And his adopted father, Rudolf van Richten, and everyone in Barovia who's met him expects great things of him, and you could see that he's been crumbling under the pressure a little bit, even as he's awakening his divine bloodline. So Ricky and Mimi, surprisingly, have a sit down with him and talk with him, and in a moment of personal self-sacrifice, Mimi, if you would like to discuss how you chose to help Sugash.
Okay, so, Mimi has this thing against using necromancy magic. Very personal, belief, but, no, believing there to be a problem, she decided to put that to the side for the sake of helping Sugash out. Granted, not by herself. She still needs help with that, but
yeah.
But to help, she tried to use a necromancy spell, Speak with Dead, for the sake of helping out, for the sake of helping Sugash out.
Yeah. Ricky essentially had to possess her hands to keep them steady, to, help make the spell work, and this is actually a thing that happened in our session 0, but the party, before they went to Barovia, just to recap a tiny bit from that, because it wasn't recorded. They actually investigated an attack on some, merchants plaguing Daggerford. So they went to the woods and investigated that the bandits were actually from Barovia, led by this Dampier, and they had a werewolf with them, and the werewolf skull that was beheaded by Kedrot, I believe.
Oh no. It was no, Kedrod beheaded the Dampier.
Yeah. The Dampier was beheaded by Kedrot, but I believe the werewolf. Well, point being, the werewolf corpse was the one that Mimi revived, and it managed to tell Sugash very important details about what's exactly been going on in Strahd's, machinations, as it were. Although the werewolf wasn't exactly very specific about this, but he did lay out a breadcrumb saying Sugash, Mimi, and Ricky are among the sacrifices that he needs to complete a ritual of some sort. They don't know what it is in character yet, and Sugash is on the right track, but even then he's still incorrect because of his own self-doubts. But his friends managed to help him, realize maybe it's okay that he's not okay. On the flip side, Ark. Why don't we go over what you've been, experiencing?
Okay, so pretty much this session, or at least pretty much the last 2 sessions, it pretty much was the reveal of Ark's true race. So, the Reborn. This is a race that I think was introduced in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
So, I guess I'll try and briefly explain just what the fuck that race is. It's more or less one of the things that you get when you pick the Reborn class. It's called Ancestral Legacy. So, basically, whatever race that you were before you died, you're allowed to keep some things that were part of that race. So, climbing, flying, swimming speeds. If there's anything that maybe gives you specific skill proficiencies, you're allowed to keep those. But any other bonuses that you would normally get from your previous race, you lose those. So when I chose to make Ark an Aarakocra, he could keep his flying because he has his wings. He could keep his talons, which is ultimately ended up being a good thing considering I'm playing Fractured Barbarian, which focuses heavily on unarmed combat. But yeah, any other bonuses that an Aarakocra would normally get, Ark doesn't have those. So instead, he goes to what you get as a Reborn. And I'm looking it up on the 5e Tools site. So
I've got it.
Yeah, so Reborn. So what is known as deathless nature. These are the benefits that Ark gets for being dead. You have advantage on saving throws against disease and being poisoned, and you're resistant to poison damage. You have advantage on death saving throws. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. You can finish a long rest in 4 hours if you spend those hours in an inactive, motionless state during which you retain consciousness. So yeah, pretty much, even though we didn't officially reveal that Ark is a Reborn, from the very beginning, this is why he never ate, never drank anything. He gets those nice little advantages on certain status effects. But a thing about the Reborn especially is a key thing about playing this class. It is the amnesia. That's actually a key element of picking the Reborn class. So it's like you died and came back, or maybe you're like some kind of a construct, or you're like Frankenstein's monster. You're actually just a bunch of random body parts given to life. Whatever you choose to make you a reborn, the fact that you basically do not remember your past, that's a key element to being reborn. And that's why I pretty much had to go down the amnesia route with Ark. But, Jordan made it work.
Mm-hmm.
So...
And that's not even the end of it.
Yeah, so there's another skill that you get called Knowledge from a Past Life. It's more or less like when you make an ability check that uses a skill, you can roll a d6 after seeing the number on your d20, and then you add the number. It's pretty much a nice little boost to when you're doing skill checks. But this is where sometimes Jordan will say, Ark, I want you to make a history check. I want you to make a history check, but I want you to roll a d6 to go with it. That's what it is. Jordan is giving me pretty much the okay to use knowledge from past life. Like, could I use that on my own? Possibly. I mean, there's no rule against it, but the way we're playing it, because it honestly makes... Because if I did that, it would make no sense if, like, for example, Ark had to make, like, a religion check. What the fuck does Ark have to do with goddamn religion? So...
Yeah, the only god Ark worships is violence.
Ark would just think of religion and be like, can I eat it?
Yeah, so so that's why, so there's some things with those skill checks that just would not make sense. So that's where I was like, okay, Jordan, I'll let you decide, especially because Jordan had to create the backstory. This is why, So that's where it's like, okay, Jordan, you let me know when it's okay to use this particular skill, and so far everything's working out fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah,
so, that's where it's like, Ark has pretty much been dead this whole time. Like, I think the best way, I know we keep calling him a zombird, but the best way, I guess, to describe him, and I swear to God, I did not, when I picked Reborn, I just initially just thought this was a cool concept. I did not put this 2 and 2 together until after I'd made the character, and I think after I'd started session 1, when I actually played Ark for the first time, was when it fucking hit me why I think Reborn, just cried out to me. It's basically Bruno Bucciarati from the second half of Golden Wind.
Yes.
And if you guys ever watched me and Ryan geek about Golden Wind every week when that was coming out, you guys should know Bruno is my freaking JoJo husband. So it's like... Yeah.
He's very good.
Yeah, so that's where so when I... it's like, well, no wonder this whole Reborn thing stuck out to me, because that's essentially what Bruno is. So, yeah, Ark is basically what Bruno was in the second half of Golden Wind, except where Bruno got to be a Reborn for, a day? Yeah, Ark's been like this from the fucking beginning, and his body's not gonna break down or anything anytime soon. So,
and you know what? With that, I want some time during this campaign for Ark to go believe me,
I've got I think just the fact that now Kadrat is working with Ark to actually to start really thinking about fighting. And especially now now that we know that he's dead, it's like, okay, there's probably some unique things Ark can do now in combat to take advantage of the fact that he's freaking dead. So it's like, I trust me, I've got ideas, but we'll make do as we go.
absolutely. Although the yada thing is definitely, how do you want to do this worthy?
I guarantee he'll be doing some kind of a punch rush at some point.
Exactly.
And then just kill someone. Arrivederci.
What does that even mean?
Yeah,
I don't know what it means.
It's a squawk.
It's like, I don't know what it means, but it just came to my mind for a second, and it sounded cool.
Yeah. Yes, and then yes, as Mr. Maniac mentioned, he ends up creating canon, and that's just because Mr. Maniac, he gave a donation, and he actually said a really awesome quote that we all really, really liked. And we're just like, and Jordan's like, you know what? Okay, Ark, you're gonna have a little bit of a flashback with your older sister Vasilka, and she told Ark at some time when he was a little babby, overcome everything to become anything. So it's like, yeah, Mr. Maniac provided us with a nice little quote for Ark.
Thanks, Mr. Maniac. And of course, while he's been, going through this revelation, Kedra offered to, mentor him a little bit on fighting styles.
Yeah. And after doing this too, he would gather the entire party together, and because they are within a safe haven where they don't have to worry about Strahd's cohorts listening in on everything, he was finally able to have a safe space to actually come forth and inform the entire party what his big plan to get into Strahd's head was. The first one was obvious enough. That was already something we were going over. It was you could essentially call it cancel culture. the Terror Court were going to cancel Strahd. Which, to be fair, the information they were spreading was not incorrect. He did in fact beat up children.
Yeah, Strahd would in fact hurt children.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Ricky is right here.
Yeah, Ricky, and also he ordered Rahadin basically to remove Corey of her arm.
Yeah.
In human years, Corey is children.
Yeah, she's 11 years old. In human years.
Yeah, so spreading that around, that was partially working, and that's part of the reason why Strahd had to take matters into his own hands and be like, okay, Rahadin, take some guys down there, teach them a lesson.
It would be my pleasure, master.
Yeah, but as well as what Strahd ended up doing next with Vallaki, where he started having the Burgermeister take more control over the place.
Burgermaster, but yes.
Yeah, and then the second phase of his plan is the biggest mind game of them all, and the plan is basically do nothing. Just make Strahd and his men just think that there's so much more to this plan when there really isn't. Just make them paranoid for no reason.
And with that in mind, I think we'll go over to what went on with Corey during the session, because yeah, you mentioned that you were out of it towards the middle half of it. So what we did was we ran an event that essentially has someone run into the tavern asking for help with his newborn baby because the baby wasn't breathing. Corey then went ahead to take care of things from that point. And while Kira did offer to help, Corey's like, no, I got this. And one cool thing that she did is that Corey actually has proficiency in Smith's tools. She didn't have any Smith's tools on her, though, so after the Wizard Wine situation was fixed, they gave her some Smith's tools, and she went to work on making herself essentially a mechanical arm with nothing but pipes and, strings, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Bam! New arm.
The macaroni arm.
Yes.
That's what we call it.
Yep.
Can we show that again?
I got it. I got it. I gotta do some resizing and shit, but.
Oh my god, Mr.
Yeah.
Maniac!
What did he say?
He's
What
like,
did he
okay.
say?
It's like, okay, listen up. It's like, Kedra, okay, listen up. Have you ever heard of a man known as Luigi?
Anyway, so that's the doodle that she drew of her own character with her macaroni arm. As we now call it, it's official. We've called it a macaroni arm.
Yeah, thanks, Alec, for coining it.
Lamau.
Yes, Curry's a cyborg.
Yeah. Actually, we haven't had too many opportunities to work with it yet, but the main thing that Corey and I are trying to do is giving Corey not only the firm position of being the party diplomat, but also to give her an identity separate from Kira, because, you know, they've been friends for so long. She can't imagine life without Kira, but she's also at the point of her life where she's like, you know, maybe I should take responsibility for my own life and figure out who I am.
Yeah, that's sort of a thing with her, because, like, when she wasn't with Kira, she was off in the army, so she hasn't really had that much opportunity to really explore herself.
Yeah, which hopefully going forward will give her way more opportunities to do so. But, you know, being passive isn't so much a bad thing, but, yeah, this also ties into Corey as an individual. So, we're putting her through hell, basically, but, you know, she's covered wars, you know.
Yeah, she can handle it.
Just put
She'll
a
be right,
scratch.
mate.
Put a scratch.
But yes, come next session, Doru, who is actually, you know, present for the whole plan, essentially learned enough, not only from Katro, but also from Sergei, who went on to explain a little bit more about his relationship with his brother and Tatiana, that at one point, it seemed that Tatiana and Strahd did genuinely love each other, but after he came out of, you know, the Shadowfell, you know, where he described that he was like a completely different person, like his brother that he knew and loved didn't come back, and it was instead replaced by, you know, the Dreadlord Strahd.
I really like Mr. Maniac's comment there.
What's that?
I doubt this would happen.
I doubt that-
I doubt this would happen, but I like to imagine Corrin fucking snapping and killing an enemy by causing the hand on the macaroni arm to spin like a buzzsaw through someone.
I mean, if you manage to, you know, tinker with it a little more, you could probably give it an implement like that.
It's like
Just gonna replace it with chainsaw.
it's like I was just about to say, Corey is fucking Ash.
Yeah, Corey is Ash from the Evil Dead series.
Oh my god.
And this is my boomstick.
Oh, just the image of Corey saying "war is hell" is so cursed. Actually, Corey, can we get that line from you real quick, just for fun?
War is hell.
Wait, I thought that was Jim Carrey who said that.
Oh, was it?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still funny.
In it.
This is what I get for not watching the Evil Dead series.
That's okay.
But yeah. Next session we'll explore a little bit more of Kretsk, but yeah. I guess we'll just shoot the shit at this point, because I think we're done with the recaps.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. So you know what? Actually, before I know last time this is when we got a little bit more into our characters. So considering the fact that you weren't here to talk about Corey, so yeah, would you like to have some time to talk about inspirations, ideas, what have you for Corey?
Yeah, sure. What specifically?
Yeah, like
I always forget what my actual inspirations for
Oh my
characters
God.
are. Like,
It's
midway
fine.
through.
Like, let's start with basically what characters did you imagine yourself wanting to play as, or who inspired you to play as this character, or what ideas you wanted to go with for this character, things like that.
Well, honestly, it's more like I've wanted to play a kobold for a long time because kobolds are adorable,
They are.
and I really like warlocks. So I haven't really done too much of sorcerers, so trying out multi-classing, mashing them together. And just sort of, as I was drawing her, I came up with ideas for her, and yeah. I don't think that there was any specific characters from other things that inspired her, but I don't know, I can't remember.
I actually do remember one. Didn't you base her off of what's her face, Sukiya from Toho? Because of the
No, you just compared her to that.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Because of the cute horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say that Kira here did sort of give you the idea that, hey, we may be multi-classing similar things, but we can go in different class directions. That's sort of what Kira pitched, but yeah. Big thing too is that we're trying to, make it so that they're not the same person, because, Kira, Corey, they sound similar. I've mixed up your names a couple times in the past. That's the important thing about, both of them being their own individuals. Like, they may have been childhood friends, but there may be a point where you won't rely on each other anymore. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I got a question. So, Corey losing an arm, was that your original intention, or was that something that Jordan proposed? Like, who came up with the whole idea of Corey losing an arm?
Jordan proposed it, and I was super on board. I am very on board of character suffering.
Yeah.
I thought for a second it's like who is on board with it? Strahd.
Oh my god.
I mean, Rahadin more so, but yeah. I did approach Corey, before that session where Rahadin and the consorts laid into the party, the Terror Court, about, hey, so I thought this would be a good idea to piss off the party. So what if we had Rahadin chop your arm off?
I was just like, yeah, sure, Pog.
God damn it.
It's like, I don't need it. I have 2 of them.
I have another. It's fine. I still have a perfectly good arm. Although with that said, we kind of did make some pretty horrible jokes about Corey losing arm. In fact, I made an entire stream where I was working on her artwork on Twitch, and I titled the VOD, "The Kooky Celtic gives Corey her arm back."
Oh my god.
That was my first time on your stream.
Yeah, it was.
And I'm trying to think, didn't your brother make a joke, when Corey was in the process of making her arm, he crit fail, baby arm?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what led to the doodle, I think.
Yeah.
Just Strahd, learning that Corey had her arm cut off. I didn't even tell them to do that. That's messed up.
But, I am genuinely impressed. I didn't think he would do that.
It's like, well, you surprised even me, Rahadin, and I know everything.
That is why I'm your butler, sir.
That's why you're my number 1.
Exactly.
And now I want Rahadin dressed up as King Dice.
Oh god damn it.
I mean, if I can talk about Rahadin and Strahd's dynamic for a second,
Sure.
for those who may not know.
Sure, by all means.
Dom and sub.
No. That's disgusting. Get out of this cult. No, you're fine. But no, their dynamic is essentially Rahadin is the Alfred to Strahd's Batman. That's what Lunch Break Heroes thought of them as. So I do want to play around with that idea, but I don't know. Since the story is about the players, it's going to be a little difficult fitting in, their personal relationship with each other. But I will say this, at least. It's not a spoiler. Rahadin is a Dusk Elf. He's been with the Von Zarevich family for many years. Maybe he broke off of Casimir's group, eons before he arrived to Barovia, and offered his services. But, naturally as Strahd, transformed into the Vampire Lord we now know him as, Rahadin just, took every opportunity to, support him because, he's indebted to him, as his servant. And also, he, has more than his own fair share of darker impulses that, Strahd being a vampire helped, spring about. So, yeah, so what I said earlier was a bit of a flub, but Rahadin cutting off Corey's arm was definitely his idea. Like, Strahd didn't tell him to do that. That's just something that he indulged himself upon. Can't really say if it was a heat in the moment situation or not, but it was definitely a situation where Rahadin wanted to do it.
Literal animal cruelty.
Yeah. That being said, even if Strahd is ever at a point where he's like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, Rahadin's usually the one there to give him advice.
Okay.
But again, it's going to be difficult because I don't want to take the spotlight away from you guys, but if there's ever a moment, if the two get a moment alone together, I will do what I can with it.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I personally, I would not mind if, if you want to save it for maybe, first thing in the session or maybe at the very end or something, where it's we're going to do, okay, flash forward to Castle Ravenloft, and it's here's just a quick, 2-minute discussion with, some villain characters or something, and it's just, I like that shit in media. So, it gives us an opportunity to, really see who these villains are, outside of, now we're here to fuck up the party. Because it's
right.
Yeah, it's when they're alone and in their own element and such, it's sometimes you see completely different sides of these characters, and it makes them rounded characters. So I would definitely not mind seeing little things like that sprinkled here and there throughout the campaign.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I know most DMs on YouTube say, okay, don't make a novella, just, have your characters beat the bad guys, but is it so wrong to give them depth?
I don't think so.
No.
Because, there's a reason why, people love, I'm sorry to mention Critical Role, but, TP, but, this is a really good example. There's a reason why people love the Briarwoods. Silas and Delilah Briarwood. Because they genuinely love and care about each other. But they do horrible things to, reach their goals. But, their love for each other is one of the most redeeming and, charming qualities. And everything they do is for each other. Which is you know what? Relationship goals.
Great.
Yeah, Strahd's side stream, that it would pretty much just be Jordan talking to himself for 2 hours.
Yeah, and that's really not fun, and I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
I don't think I can keep that up for several hours.
Yeah.
I would rather have it be a moment in the session.
That's why,
because again, I don't want to talk to myself.
Yeah, well, that's why I said, if you want to, just do, a quick flash in, Castle Ravenloft for, 2-3 minutes and just do, you know what, here's a conversation between Strahd and Rahadin, or Strahd and like Strahd and the consorts, or just the consorts with each other. You know, throw Derna in there. You know.
Around mummy.
Get his perspective.
Yeah, like you
Whoa.
know, an opportunity. You know, again, it's like it doesn't have to be ridiculously long or detailed or something. Yeah, it's like, you know, yeah, just do like a 2-minute conversation or something that, you know, builds them up a little bit more or something. Then okay, now we can go back to the party, or that's how we end the session, or whatever. I'll let you decide. You're the DM.
Yes. Sorry to break up the pace here, but Corey just came up with a doodle, and I'm like, this is awesome, but like, holy shit.
I am going to save it, and I am going to show it.
It's a bit janky, but I didn't want to spend too much time on it.
I mean, it looks good. Anyway, kind of lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, speaking of Corey.
Yeah, so she just did this based off of the meme.
Yeah. Yeah, I was also gonna say though, since we went over what into making your character, I guess we can go around the table.
I just wanted to give Corey the floor just because she didn't have it last time.
Yeah, and you know what, Dana, I'm gonna call you out a little bit. I worry about you because you don't always, you know, jump in to do roleplay, and it's okay to be passive, but at the same time, it's like we want you to have fun too with roleplay. I worry about you sometimes.
I definitely try to get better at it, but honestly, I just get really nervous.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's actually another reason why we made something called Show of Hands, where everybody talks in a certain order. And it's like, if someone's a primary speaker, they have the floor. But if they don't, then they can raise their hands in that specific chat. If they have a point they want to add, I would give them the permission to do so.
Yeah, because I know this is something we're all kind of working together on, because like I believe we mentioned this before, but like when we were all playing in the abode, a big thing was like, you know, each of our characters, like we gravitated towards like one character, and that was pretty much it. That was like the extent of our role play, which, you know, isn't really fair to the whole party. So we are trying to branch out a little bit. That's where it's like, take like Ark for example. Like, you know, yeah, Ark is really close right now to Ricky and Kedrot. You know, I can imagine he can easily connect with Sugash, just, you know, because, you know, they're both fighters and shit. But when it comes to the girls, so that's where it's like, okay, how can Ark's got to somehow break the ice and have some RP moments with Kira, Corey, and Mimi. I just got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, like that can definitely be resolved later down the road.
Yeah.
But I will say, compared to the abode, our character dynamics with each other are so much more varied, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
It's like, I can definitely see maybe even, well, speaking of Ark, I can definitely see Mimi having a moment with Ark. Like, maybe they go over their own things, or maybe Ark tells Mimi something that he thinks is really cool out of her, or Mimi would admire Ark's candor, things like that.
Yeah.
Vice versa. I could see Corey and Sugash having moments with each other, you know, where it's like, Sugash is comfortable with things that he can manage, or things that he knows he can manage, and Corey knows what it's like to be on the line of fire. So hey, maybe Corey can actually help Sugash be better with in the moment decisions. Oh my god, that's actually a really good point.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we'll work on it.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah, but honestly, I will say, from the top, we are getting so much better with varied roleplay.
Yeah. Well, I also want to say, I think it helps too, because like something that it sort of just now came to me. In the abode, our characters more so had better relationships towards the NPCs rather than, actually forming more party dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, hey, granted, our very own OCs do have a confirmed relationship, Brian. So
Yeah.
that's not entirely a bad thing.
Yeah, that's not entirely a bad thing, but it's also
Not to
just
mention
like,
Boone.
I just feel like,
Yeah, Boone and
that
Simon.
may have just been something that resulted with us like having more of a relationship with having better relationships with the NPCs rather than like forming a party dynamic. But that's something that we've been doing more here. Like we actually have more of a party dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I'm sure, like, as we go, we'll find ways to, like, really vary and connect, more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I will say you guys are doing a
and
great job so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll
Sorry,
also be fair to the abode that just because we may have had more dynamics, more like stronger dynamics, which overall with NPCs. Well, first and foremost, if I can also say something about that, a lot of the NPCs were either created for your story or created for the campaign. So, a lot of the so obviously it feels like being able to forge those relations would be easier than with a campaign that obviously able to being able to differentiate itself from everyone else or whatever because of how you DM. Like most of the characters are already kind of like there, like all the characters were. Here's the basis. You work with them however you might, but
Yeah. It was definitely, well, appropriately. It was the abode was a great way to test the waters with how our overall way of playing the game goes. As a result, I did learn a lot as a DM. Like, for example, I learned about challenge rating. I also learned a little bit more about how to carefully read spells before I even attempt them. And I also got a little better on improv. Not the best, because I still flub my words like I did now.
Can
but
you
I will
ever really learn challenge rating?
I
don't
mean,
think
it's
it's
highly
possible.
it is highly inaccurate sometimes because, well, hey, while technically a night hag has a low challenge rating, it can still deal a lot of damage. But put a little wormling there, like say, I think gold one. Yeah, let's just go for a gold one in general. It could probably die in one hit, even though it has the same challenge rating. Challenge rating is wildly inaccurate sometimes, but yeah, I do have a better grasp on it now. But God, I want more player experience. Like, if it's not obvious enough, I am the dungeon master of this group, and I love world building. I love, coming up with these characters, and I like challenging these guys emotionally. The mileage may vary on that. I don't know how many times offhand I made them cry, but
Happened.
yeah, it happened. But that's also because I'm also D&D's actually been helping me get better with writing my own stories. In fact, a lot of characters from the abode I'm adapting into Phantom of the Horse because hey, you guys love Frank. You liked Fira, you liked Dora, and it's like, I can't have these guys just be part of this campaign. I need to actually expand on their stories, and I have.
See, Jordan, I didn't like Dora. I loved Dora.
Very true. Well, more accurately, Riona did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, to your credit, that's one of the beautiful things about D&D, just being able to try out characters that, I guess, like, normally were, like, out of your comfort zone or something. Like, like going into the abode, like, from, because that was like my first D&D campaign, Castiel being my first character, I was the idea I had was, yeah, she's the party cleric, she's pretty much the party mom, which is like, I figure, okay, I'll be able to pick up that kind of a character easily, just because we constantly joke over here on Spiffy Needle Geeks that because I'm considerably older than you guys, that I'm group mom. We all, that's the joke, because you guys are all in your 20s and I'm in my 30s, so
Excuse me, I'm right here.
To be fair, Brian and I are inching on our 30s.
Wait,
But we're not there yet.
am I the baby?
Crashing in the 30s, yeah.
CP, how old are you?
Danny, I am right here.
Me?
I mean, that was before you came along. Like, you joined us, for Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, but
And I will be joining you guys for the abode too.
yeah, but usually it's like, when it was like, even like when it was originally just like me, BJ, Ryan, and Brandon, like when the four of us are together and we're gaming together and such, like, yeah, we always joke about how I'm team mom. So you would think like that kind of a character dynamic would come easy for me. And you can listen to the VODs on Jordan's channel. I struggled with Castiel for a while. It took me like maybe 10 sessions before I felt like I got a good grasp on the character. Meanwhile, I have Ark here, an asexual dead bird himbo, and I picked him up, and it took me 2 sessions to figure him out. What the fuck?
I mean, honestly, there's some character types that we just naturally click to, and Ark was that character. In fact, I think you went on records. I think you went on record saying that Ark is your favorite character by far.
He is. Oh, don't get me wrong.
I mean-
He is my favorite character that I've made so far. I am loving this guy to pieces, and I can see that you guys love him too. But yeah, talk about a character type that I never would have thought. Like, if you were to ask me, like, when we were starting D&D, it's like, hey, do you think you'd be able to pull this kind of a character off? No, not in the long shot. Well, here I am. I'm doing it.
You are the big dumb bird that everybody loves.
Yeah, you know
Oh
what?
Oh my god, this is me.
Brian wants to say something.
Obviously, it's I think the reason you were able to click with him, Danny, is because, as you said before, he's basically Bruno.
That's one reason, yeah.
I guess it might be easier to think of a character to act. I think it's also worth knowing that, like, again, Ark. You've already, by this point, you've had experience with D&D.
True.
With Cass, you really not.
This is true.
So, I'm not saying that is definitively the reason, but I'm not gonna deny the possibility.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Actually, you know what? Speaking of which, okay, so a little while ago, in our little private Discord, we like to do like little memes and shit. And there was a meme, well, if you want to call it a meme, but there was a thing that Jen shared, like, no, it was technically Jordan, I think. Jordan shared about where it's like, okay, take a character and there's like 6 boxes. Fill in the boxes with like 6 things that helped like inspire the character. I think Jordan was the one that started it, because he started it, I think, with his character Alex from his manga. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of...
Comic, but yes.
Yeah, we kind of picked it up with our own characters. So it's like, yeah, we can show those off.
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah, so like, do we want to maybe just kind of go like in the order that we see on the screen? So like, like Kira, Corey, blah blah blah.
Wait, which ones again?
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I don't know what characters inspired me.
No,
Hang on.
that's
I did bump it. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Found it.
Okay.
yeah.
Time out. First off, I was the one who shared it in here first.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So Mimi's the one who shared it.
Okay.
I did it first, and then Ark
good.
followed suit, and then after that, it's Kira, Kedrot, Sugash, and then Mimi.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
I actually don't have. I don't actually have a full thing.
No, that's fine.
I need to actually finish it. So.
While you guys suss that out, I will actually be right back. For the record, sus doesn't just mean suspect; it also means figure out. It's just
Okay.
old world.
All right, so
Like not everything's a meme, kids. I'll be right back.
all right,
Don't
Okay.
fight.
Things are
okay,
mean to me.
no problem. So I guess in the meantime we'll just yeah, because I know Corey and Ricky didn't do it. Sugash technically did it, but he's not here, so he's not really here to kind of explain his choices. So it's pretty much Kira, Kedrot, Ark, and Mimi. So yeah, so here we go. So we'll start with Kira. So Jen, would you like to explain your 6 boxes?
Okay. So everybody knows I'm kind of a big Toho fan. In the
Dare
top.
you?
Shut up. So the first character is Marissa Kurosame. I love her to pieces. She is known as the Ordinary Magician. This is where I inspired Kira off of her looks and kind of some of her playful personality.
Okay.
Plus, plus I don't know if people have picked it up yet, but when you look at Kira, she has very colorful spells. And Marissa also shares this colorful spell thing too. And also because she has a broom, and that's why I was so happy that Jordan gave me the broom of flying. I was like, yes, the Ordinary Magician / Witch aesthetic is complete.
Tia Frene.
All right. So the next character is from a movie called Vampire Hunter D.
Oh,
This is where-
it's a classic.
love
Old
this bit.
school classic.
This is where I base Kira's clothes off of is from D himself, because like you could tell the similarity. The hat, the gloves, kind of the cape, but it's just enough to be different. Also because I love this character to death. Also have the long hair.
Mhm.
Next is an obvious one is Sarah from Hocus Pocus. Once again with the witch aesthetic. And it's also where I got the idea of like, okay, how can I combine D's outfit with a D&D setting? So I started looking around, and then I remembered Sarah from Hocus Pocus. Because, like, if you notice, like, Kira has this Victorian style kind of thing going on with her.
Mm-hmm.
And same with Sarah from Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
Now, you're going to be confused about why is there a golden dragon? Well... Well, I was thinking, okay, I wanted to do Dragon Sorcerer, because I love that subclass of Sorcerer. And I was like, okay, what's a dragon that that's rarely used, but it's also really cool? And I was looking over, and I remember, okay, let's look at the Metallic Dragon. Because, like, Chromatic Dragons, yeah, they're cool and all, but it's like, I want to go with Metallic, because, Kira is good, and the Metallic Dragons are considered good. And then I saw the Golden Dragon, and I was like, no, this dragon is very unique. And it's very, nice. And I also believe, Corey, you based Corey's tail off of the Metallic Dragon's wings, I believe?
Yep, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the both of you ended up taking inspiration from the gold dragon.
Yeah.
It's like
Gold Dragon.
it's like all the more. It all makes sense.
Gold dragons are amazing, and I really wish they would be used more often. And I was like, okay, golden dragons, will make sense with Kira being kind of like have the gold aesthetic going on with her on her characters. I know it's hard to see on the screen because I am a dunce and use this as paint, but you can see the gold. So yeah, next is of course Sypha. Once again, magic user, and I was thinking, okay, this is where the sorcerer kind of plays in, because like, if I was to class Sypha as a D&D character, definitely sorcerer. And some of the spells that Kira has picked are some of Sypha's spells, like Ice Knife and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And finally is another Toho character named Mima. This is where Kira's kind of serious side is like when she goes into like her dragon, when her dragon blood awakes, that's when I tune into Mima. Mima is kind of like a semi-serious sorcerer character, and her whole thing is that, okay, I want revenge on the motherfucker that killed me. And
Serious as Toho can be, really.
yeah.
I don't
So
know
it's like-
shit about Toho.
Neither do I.
Yeah, well, with Mima, she wanted to kind of basically kept coming back because she's like, I'm dead. I want to find the person that killed me, and yada yada yada. And also, Mima has a bunch of colorful spells, just like Marissa.
Isn't the law that Mima is Marissa's tutor or something?
Yes. So it's kind of a hand-in-hand thing.
Hmm.
So there you go. That's all my characters with.
All right. Alrighty, so okay, let me get it set up. But the next one we're going to talk about is gonna be Sir Kedrat.
Okay. So, taking a break from Legends Arceus for a bit.
Yeah, no problem.
Were you playing Legends Arceus during the stream? God damn it. That's rude.
Unbelievable. Can't believe you've done this.
No. To be fair, it is a chill stream. So.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, like, if it was a D&D game, I wouldn't be doing that.
I
Absolutely
would
not.
never draw during a stream.
Yeah.
Actually, before you start, Brian, Josh Singh asks a quick question: do you believe that playing video games could cause seizures because of the bright lights? I think it's only in specific settings. That's why don't play video games, especially with the bright lights. Don't play them in the dark because that can trigger seizures if you're prone to them. So that's why you always see in games and stuff, they always say, like, play in a brightly lit room and stuff. So I mean, it can happen. It can happen, but I think it only happens in certain conditions, and it only happens to specific people because, like, not everybody is prone to seizures, but there are some people who are more susceptible.
Yeah, like it doesn't affect everyone, but it does affect a certain amount of people, which is why most games give that warning. I don't think games in general cause epilepsy because that wouldn't make them a very lucrative, business model.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Brian, go on ahead.
Okay. So the first inspiration towards Kedra, and the one that we've made the most obvious towards, is best Seven Deadly Sins character, Lord Escanor, the Lion Sin of Pride. So, Escanor is a very interesting character in a sense where, like, so, in context to the Seven Deadly Sins, Escanor has two separate forms. And you could actually kind of make a bit of a parallel that young Kedra, like when he was a wee lad, is very much like Night form Escanor, where he's not very confident in himself. He's very weak. He's very timid. He's terrified of a lot of things. He just wants to live a nice, peaceful, regular life away from any kind of danger. Like, he's basically the most vulnerable at night. But when it's daytime, Escanor enters in his day form, where he's pretty much what you know him as. He's very confident. He's prideful. He's super sure of himself. But he's the kind of prideful that isn't arrogant, because the things that he says that he can do, he can live up to his boasts. Like, when you are first introduced to him, he's faced in a match against, a dude who, he basically forces him into a game where, basically, we're basically just gonna take swings at each other, and whoever dies loses the game. And he takes and Escanor, with just one slash, just cuts this dude in half with little effort.
Okay.
But, like, that's kind of what I wanted to take with Kedra a little, where, like, as his more adult, as his more grown-up form here, he's pretty much kind of adopted a bit of that personality from Escanor, where, like, yeah, he's very confident in himself, but it's not like the arrogant kind of prideful. He is a kind of person who, basically, as he says, basically, it's as he said to Strahd a good number of times. It's like, I'm not overconfident. I'm just telling the truth. And that's just what he likes to go by. He likes to go by what he personally thinks is the truth. And the thing is, despite the pride that he does have in his strength, he doesn't consider underestimating anyone. In fact, since he died and got brought back, mostly what he's been doing is he's been thinking about the previous encounter with Strahd at the Strahd's con. So he's been thinking about ways to try to flip the plans that they have right back on their heads, because he's fully aware of some of the things that they can do. So he wants to make sure he can go into these battles now for the other one, Guts. More so specifically his training method. So like as during one of the sessions where Kedra and Mimi had their moment where he actually gives up his cape to Mimi, I stated that his means of training was taking his sword and just doing like some vertical slashes with it to do like arm exercises. That's something that Guts actually does in Berserk when he's trying to keep his strength up.
Mm-hmm. Like, not even just that, but I mean, I think I even mentioned this before, but the conversation that Kedrot had with Mimi back in the town of Barovia, that totally screamed Berserk to me. One of those moments where Guts is talking to somebody and sharing words of wisdom, that totally screamed Berserk.
Yeah. Now, this next one may not be the most obvious to really see. In fact, I actually I remember showing this to Jordan, and even he was like even he didn't see this one coming and didn't really see where the connection was. But basically, the 11th Doctor, specifically the 11th Doctor, the one played by Matt Smith. Now, Matt Smith's Doctor is interesting in the way that he's performed is that he's usually very jovial. He's very he has a way with words. He's typically in the moment majority of the time. The one thing that you don't rarely see him being is angry, which is sort of similar to Kedra. You don't really see him being angry too much. He's very, he seems like a guy who's very calm, collective, in control of the moment. But you can make Matt Smith's Doctor angry, but that is a mistake that will guarantee you dead. Because when you piss off the 11th Doctor, he'll do crazy shit to get back at you. In one of the first few arcs of Doctor Who that we're first introduced to with the 11th Doctor, where we're met with the Atraxi, he manages to get them off of the planet. But he takes a guy's cell phone and starts calling them back, and he's like, I didn't say you could go! This here is a level 5 planet, and you were gonna burn it. What, did you think nobody was watching? Back here, now! And then
he called them straight back.
Yeah, he called him straight back, got on the roof, and actually had a conversation breaking down, asking him a bunch of questions, what do you think, it's why did you think you'd be doing this? What kind of threat does this place have? And then the last thing he says, which makes the Atraxi flee in terror, is, hello, I'm the Doctor. Basically. Run.
And run they did.
Yeah, when Matt Smith's Doctor is angry, he's legitimately terrifying.
Oh, shit.
And that's kind of a moment that I haven't had too much of a moment with that with Kedrot just yet.
Oh, his day is coming.
I am trying to think of a place where that can happen, where Kedrot's mad and it is terrifying.
Yeah, he and I are, discussing ways of how we can do that in the future, but yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. Now, Captain America, it's actually, as Jordan pointed out, Kedrot is a bully hater. He hates bullies.
I don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from.
Yeah. In fact, Because it's funny, because that's actually where he and Durna are so much different, like, as characters, because Durna is a coward. He's constantly running from fights that he knows that he can't win.
Yeah, which is why he fled and essentially left Garl to die by also curing him.
Yeah. Kedra, on the other hand, he's the kind of guy where even if it's something that he knows is too strong for him to handle, he'll stay and fight if it means him fleeing would, like, leave somebody else hurt.
But Durna doesn't see it that way, and stays very, very true to his self-preservation, which is selfish.
Yeah. Now, Dunban is, his inspiration is how we basically came up with Kedrat's voice. And it's actually a really funny story behind that. Because I talked about this on the art stream I was doing where I was doing my own drawing with Kedrat. Jordan was there too, but just in case those of you who weren't there for that stream, I'll say it here. So, I'm gonna jump the gun a bit because the last one, that's what Kedrat looks like on the actual Neopet site, minus the hat. I was hoping to be able to just keep the muzzle on, but apparently the steampunk face wear won't let me take off the hat, so I was upset about that. But that's actually what he looks like, and that was pretty much, that's pretty much what the character looks like as base, like where we basically came up with the idea of like, okay, so we're just gonna take this character, try to make him into something from D&D. And yeah, this is an actual Scorchio I created, same name. But basically this was the image I was presenting, and the original voice I had in mind with Kedra was that because he looks very young here, he was probably going to have a much more light-hearted tone and whatnot, maybe a bit younger and such. But then Jordan presented me the art for what Kedra was going to appear like in Curse of Strahd, and I see that and I'm like, I can't do the young voice for this.
Like, he's too handsome.
It's like, it would seem so off-putting to hear. Like, it would be like hearing Jorno's voice coming out of Guts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Tobey Maguire coming out of, I don't know, Andrew Garfield's mouth. Like, it's cursed.
Yeah, it would be very cursed.
I guess you haven't heard. I'm the sheriff around these parts.
Yeah, but so it's like I had to start rethinking. It's like, okay, I need to try to think of like I need to think of a more appropriate voice for this kind of character design. But then it started hitting me, and Jordan instantly was on board for it. And I'm like, yo, what if we went for Dunban?
I'm like, yes, go for Dunban.
Yeah, and so that's why whenever I speak with Kedrat's voice, he sounds much more like this.
Nice. Just wait. Since he is part Fae, I'm expecting a Blossom Dance-esque finisher from him. We have yet to do that, but I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, those were the primary inspirations that I had towards putting Kedrat together.
All right.
Yeah, actually, before I leave off, though, the other thing, too, is that Illison kind of having romantic feelings for Kedra actually started as a joke.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god!
Because on the actual site, there is a run-on thing that Jordan and Jen have been aware of, where there is a random event that can sometimes happen, where it'll say something has happened. Illison confronts you and gives you 10,000 Neo points. And the joke is that the fact that I've gotten that random event so many fucking times.
Almost daily.
Yeah. It just got to the point where it's like, yo, I think Illison has a thing for you. So we played that into Ketrat's character.
You know what? I specifically remembered when we were all in character creation. Because I think I actually remembered when you were coming up with Kedra, I think I remembered it was either you or Jordan, but you dropped the Captain America inspiration. I remembered that. Because I remembered making, like, because there's the joke, oh, that's America's ass. And, when you were talking about Illison and such, it's like, I made that joke, or it's like, that's Illison's ass. And then Jordan's like, Danny, you're not wrong. And I'm like, wait, what?
That's where the joke came from. That's that, because Illison keeps giving me money.
But what's even funnier is that here we're playing it straight.
Yeah, we are actually playing it straight. So yeah, that's why Illicent has feelings for Kendra, because on the actual site she keeps giving me money.
It keeps happening. Also, now the Earth Fairies are after your ass.
But Illusen specifically.
Yeah, and you know what? If I could be brutally honest, it's like honestly, like I love the conversations between Illison and Kadrat. I think they are so precious.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's because Brian and I are, so good at playing off of each other that romance just comes naturally.
Yeah, it's like because like I know you guys play off of each other really well. I know I know Letter and Boone play off of each other very well.
Yeah.
That's where it's like, I'm sure in the future we'll definitely see some more Sugash and Ricky shenanigans, But that's where it's like, again, like, that's the whole branching out thing. Because that's like, like in the Abode, Letter and Boone. The two of them had, like, the best moments in the Abode. Because they just played off each other so well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
But yeah, I'd say that's it for talking about all the things that helped to build Kedrat.
All right, and okay. All right. Let me pull up. Arc.
Bird boy.
Meanwhile, I keep getting invaded by vampires.
All right.
Yeah, that's been happening. Anyway, but Arc.
All right. So, I did mention this, I believe, in the last Chill stream, but one of Arc's original inspiration was the Skeksis from the Dark Crystal. Really freakish looking monster birds, and honestly, out of all the Skeksis, probably the one I took the most inspiration from was Skekmal the Hunter. And he was a very prominent character in Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, which I fucking love. So, yeah, because Skekmal, as his name implies, he is the hunter. And that's where he's the kind of guy where, he does, his hunt continues until he gets his target, which in Age of Resistance, he was going after Rian. And there was like a whole scene where, he's explaining all this. He was collecting like the tongues of, all of his prey and such. So that's where it's like, so that's where some of the inspiration for Arc, especially when it came to the trophy collecting. But I decided to do it a little bit differently because, oh, bless you.
Bless you.
I decided to handle it a little bit differently, and especially to play off of the amnesia route with Arc. So the only reason he's collecting like body parts and stuff, and he's specifically only collecting pieces from enemies that he specifically kills. So, because, like, God forbid if he ever loses memory again, he at least has physical evidence of something that he's done. That's where it's like, if Corey kills an enemy, Arc will never take a trophy from an enemy that Corey killed. He will only take trophies from himself. So that's why he has, like, wolf's paws. He killed the werewolf in Session 0, so he took the head. I think he took an ogre head at some point, and I think I ended up like chucking it at an enemy or something. It became like a weapon at some point. But
orc head.
An orc head, yeah. So that was really where a lot of like, more specifically, a lot of like the hunter stuff. A lot of that really came from Skekmal. And as I also mentioned, when it came to Reborn, Bruno. I mean, I don't think I really need to say any further. I kind of already did talk about that a little bit earlier. Raphael from Fire Emblem Three Houses, that obviously came later, because again, I originally intended to play Arc more serious, but he ended up going down the route of the more, the lovable comedic, a little bit himbo when shit's not going down, and whereas, like, I know the whole thing with Raphael is, like, he's all about eating meat, bulk up and shit. And, like, that's not necessarily Arc, but the way Raphael approaches situations, like, and especially, like, when you listen to his conversations with, I believe with his friend, Ignis, it's like, that's probably a little bit more closer to Arc. Like, when he would talk about, like, how there was this whole thing about how with their pasts, about how like Raphael's parents pretty much got killed, because his best friend blamed himself and stuff, and Raphael's like, dude, I don't hold anything against you. That wasn't your fault. It was an accident, That's like, no, I'm not gonna blame you for what happened. And it's like, that's more, like, that side of Raphael, that's a little bit more closer to Ark. Then the Incredible Hulk, of course, Fractured Barbarian.
Arc smash.
Yeah, the Fractured Barbarian, that's what it is. So again,
that's literally what the Fractured Barbarian is based off of. Well, more specifically, the Celtic legend of
Cuchulainn?
Cuchulainn. Yeah. I was sorry, I was a little distracted. But yeah, Cuchulainn, who has this particular quirk about himself where if he gets stressed or angry, he warp spasms. And basically he becomes a freakish abomination with like asymmetrical body parts, and he basically goes on a blood hunt and won't stop until everyone's dead.
I love him.
Yeah, so that was taken from Irish mythology, and I approve.
Nice. Alrighty. So then we have Aya from Parasite Eve. So
that surprised me.
So yeah, and that's mostly because of how the whole amnesia thing was handled. Because yeah, in Parasite Eve, there was a point in Aya's life that she literally just does not remember, and that was she, her sister, and her mother ended up in a car crash. The car crash killed her mother and her sister, and Aya was the only survivor, but we find out later on in the game that Aya's sister originally carried the mutated mitochondria, basically Eve. And when they were in the car crash, Aya got a cornea transplant in her eye, and that came from her sister. And that's why she got all the parasite powers. Aya had no idea any of this had happened. So when the game started and she's like, wait a minute, I've got all these powers. What the hell's going on? And so it's like that, again, that was kind of more the approach that I wanted to take with Ark with the amnesia. Because, some people, like some characters, they're constantly brooding and shit. Like Shadow the fucking Hedgehog. Oh my god. It's like, you want to talk about, like, in my opinion, how not to do an amnesia plotline? Don't do Shadow the Hedgehog. Oh my god, it was so frustrating. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating that you went through multiple games of him brooding and literally it going nowhere until he got to his own game, and the end result was such a disappointment. And that's where I'm like, I'm not going that route with Ark. But with Aya, she's absolutely determined to find out these answers. She wants to know what's going on with my body. Why is it that, like, everybody else can burst into flames, but I don't? What's going on? I want to know the answers. And, and again, that's kind of the direction that I'm taking with Ark. He does, because he doesn't have his memory from him being reborn, it's like, yeah, it's the determination of him wanting to know. And, Aya goes through all kinds of emotions in the game. Confusion, determination, fear. And right now, Ark's definitely in the fear stage right now. Now that he's... Aww. Well, yeah, because I was like, yeah, like 2 sessions ago, it was, okay, it was confirmed now that he's reborn. And, the way I see Ark was like, if this was a situation like he was in a battle or something, like he died in battle and somehow came to life, that would be an easier pill to swallow for him. I think that's an ending he would be like, you know what, I could accept that. But it's the fact that it's, he is an experimentation. He's getting these flashbacks of him being strapped down and having, like, blood taken out of him, shit being put into him on a regular basis. So it's like him being so powerless. And that's what terrifies him. And it's like, yeah, that was how he died. So that's where, like, yeah, right now, yeah, Ark's, it's like, yeah, he's going to have to get used to the whole being dead thing. But it's just also the fact that Yeah, he died in the worst fucking situation for him. And then, lastly, Bird. So, Bearded Vulture. He's good.
Super cool animals.
He's going to have some of those, bird habits. That's where it's like, like if, like everybody else is like, he's got like, turn your head to somebody. Everyone's got to like turn around. All Ark has to do is just turn his head. He's just like, oh, bird.
I wish I could be like that. Just turn my head around like an owl.
Yeah.
I mean, it would help me crack my neck a lot easier.
Oh.
I just want to see Ark just turn his head. You just hear like the source filmmaker.
It's like, heard you're talking shit.
Let me see.
That's a really good setup for a comedic moment, actually.
Yeah. That's like I said, one of these days, like, when the situation calls for it, like, and when Ark gets a, how do you want to do this finisher, when the situation calls for it, I am going to do the Bearded Vulture finish, where he picks up somebody and just drops them in the air. It's going to happen at some point. I just need to wait for when it's like the prime opportunity, like probably like when we're climbing a mountain or something. That'll be when he'll start dropping. That's when he'll start dropping people.
Honestly, guys, since most of you are flying, I should probably consider giving you aerial battles.
At this point, yeah. Black Eye Lugias, is Ark's mouth ripping apart, or is that just the art messing with my eyes? I think this is more so the art.
Yeah, I intentionally, made Ark, a bit rougher than the other characters, to accentuate how much of a freak of nature he is.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, what you're seeing is his beak, and it's just, the, highlights, going into his, paler feathers.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's like you could.
Sorry, it didn't come across very well.
Oh no,
Like,
yeah, nope.
I don't draw a lot of bird characters.
Right, but I mean that's like you can see like in that picture there. It's like bearded vultures, like lots of grays, blacks, whites, copper reds, and browns. I mean, there's a lot of color on bearded vultures, and it's like the babies are like pure gray. But then when they're
super adorable.
They are like the cutest little fluff balls, and then they grow up
Into the most metal birds possibly in the entire animal kingdom.
That's
Honestly, they're one of my favorite birds.
that's where it's like ever since I created Ark and I was doing research on bearded vultures, it's like bearded vultures, they're awesome.
Yeah, but don't make no mistake. He is an Aarakocra by lineage, but the bearded vulture is the main inspiration.
Yeah, because it's like I said, like, because there's really I don't think there really is any kind of like a set thing for Aarakocra. It's just bird. So that's where like
Pretty much.
Yeah, like Kenkus, they are specifically like crows. But Aarakocra couldn't really be anything, so that's where, like, do a Google search on Aarakocra, and you'll see all kinds of great designs that people do for characters, like, owls, peacocks, flamingos, canaries, robins. I mean, people can get really, really creative with an Aarakocra.
And hey, major difference, Aarakocra can actually fly.
This is true, yeah, they can fly.
Imagine flying.
Yeah, Kenkus can't. In terms of the Forgotten Realms lore, Kenkus are cursed perpetually to be unable to fly. And they also kind of worked it into, every Kenku is like this, every Kenku dreams of flying, and they can only speak in, like, words they already heard before. They parrot, basically, and it's like, that's not fun. So, yeah, if you want to play Kenku, do whatever.
Yeah.
And the newer version of the Kenku doesn't have the parroting thing anyway.
Yeah, good, because if you... the main thing about D&D anything, like classes or races or whatever, if you confine something to an alignment or a specific quirk, then you kind of limit character potential. Oh,
Okay.
and it appears Mimi got his sheet done.
Yep, yeah, so, yeah.
Well, TP got his sheet done. Mimi sheet. Mimi's a.
Yeah, but...
Semantics, we know TP.
Yeah, but,
You got it done.
Yeah, but, yeah, so, let me,
I've been trying to get mine done for this.
Yeah, no.
So
Yeah,
cool.
no problemo. I'm just saving it and getting it all in.
okay,
Alright.
I
I
just
figured
drew.
I wanted also wait until after like Danny was done.
Yeah, that's pretty much it as far as art goes. So, all right, Mimi.
Yeah, floor is yours.
Okay. So on the left, we first off obviously Mimikyu, the Pokemon. The namesake, the inspiration behind the idea I wanted to go with, which was in Pokemon lore, the Pokemon Mimikyu, it like wants to be popular, wants to be what this or that, wants, but like so it, but because of its true form being so uh, apparently being able to curse whatever, it hides under a sheet, and it chose Pikachu because it chose to emulate Pikachu because it wanted to be pop. It wanted to get the attention that Pikachu had, which out of which out of universe seems to have worked really well. Uh, so uh, so when I was looking over the races, I saw tieflings, and I saw that they were a race that like had that were cursed. They were typically shunned by people. So I figured a character who would hide their true appearance under, you know, under something. There you go. That's it. That's it. That's the one.
Found it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, there it is.
Mimi, the second character is Mimi Takikawa from Digimon Adventure. This particular image coming from Digimon Adventure Try. This is mostly just the name. I've thought about. You see, when I thought about that, and I thought about Mimikyu, it was like, how do I make it a Mimi? Duh. That being said, still kind girl. So the next one is probably where the inspirations start to be more specific. The character under Mimi is his name is Libra from Fire Emblem Awakening.
Oh, Libra, I remember him.
Yeah, despite the fact that he looks like a girl.
And that's actually a plot point in the game. Like,
Yeah,
I think it's like, but it's like, I think if you do like the conversation between Libra and Virion, it's like Virion actually like mistakes Libra for a woman, and Libra's like, I hate to break it to you, but I'm a man. And Virion's like, what? He's like, how can a man be so beautiful? And Libra's like, thank you. So,
I mean, Libra does look nice, but go ahead, Mimi.
It's funny.
Okay, so apart from the fact that Libra canonically is a war monk, a character that not only like can like attack with an axe, but can also heal. So apart from first off, I wanted someone who had like sort of clerical abilities, and Libra was actually a really good one. Any of the healers in anything could count. But I also wanted to look at something else with that. Well, again, kind of going back to the I can't speak right now.
No, it's okay.
Going back to like the idea of like tieflings and Mimikyu and being judged. I also added one of Libra's own fears, canonical fears, because Libra has a fear of being touched by people. So I felt that kind of sort of contributes. You don't like you when you get judged all your life, you probably would not want to have people touch you, especially since more often than not, when people do that, it's for completely not nice reasons. I wouldn't say it's
Yeah.
necessarily a fear that Mimi herself has, but certainly
Yeah, the threads are definitely there.
mm-hmm. Plus, again, I needed a good character who emphasizes the fact that Mimi is the cleric, which is kind of what I was going for. The next on the top right, that character's name is Nicole, and she's a Sonic character, but she's actually in one of the shows, but she's like a handheld.
Yeah, in Sat AM,
Yes.
she was a computer, right?
Yes. In the Archie comics, eventually she basically gets to have her own form eventually. But the entire time Nicole has was a very support, like Nicole was basically support. Not to mention at times being judged for I guess factors out of her control. I know there's at least one arc in the comics that did do that. And for the record, all this was and just in case anyone cares, these are arcs when the comic was actually decent, i.e. after 160. So
So no penders.
no penders.
No penders.
Ironically, the story that would eventually let the story that she first got this form in was building off of a Pender story, but it was not his doing that created this form. It was someone else, and B, much more was done after he left. So good, but again, I just wanted to emphasize like the support, and a lot of these ultimately do get judged, except for the last one. I'll get to that one later. Speaking of judging, next one, Hellboy. You might be wondering why that one's there.
Yeah, this one I'm interested in hearing.
I mostly wanted to come down to the whole fact that because of how tieflings look, they all look like they're demons, but they're actually meant to be like these. They're helping people, despite what the world thinks of them, despite what people think of them, and while Hellboy does have a far different way of going about it, he's ultimately someone who, like, kind of is helping out humanity. There's a lot more to it. It's more than just humanity, I guess, but that's kind of the angle I was going for. This is like a literal demon who's helping others, whereas Mimi isn't exactly a demon, but because tieflings are cursed.
Yeah, she has infernal blood.
Yeah, so basically as close as you can get to a demon. It's basically as close to a demon as you can. And that's kind of the idea I had. This wasn't one that immediately came to mind but like, yeah. And the more I thought about it, the more it clicked as to. So You were saying before we get to the last one, though?
Yeah. I wanted to be reminded. When you made Mimi the first time, didn't you basically go off of the archetypal type of tiefling? You know, where they weren't necessarily born the way they are, but the world also judges them because they look so much like demons and devils.
Yeah, they look so much like devils, despite the fact that they really aren't. Despite the fact that, I mean, I know that like tieflings can be the tiefling, whatever, can be hereditary. Like you can pass down the fact that you're a tiefling to your offspring, and that's the idea I wanted to go with Mimi. She wouldn't be, especially knowing her, she wouldn't have been the one to have wanted to be one. She was born with it. Not unlike Hellboy, who was born a demon.
Although another interesting dichotomy is Hellboy had his horns chopped off. Mimi still has hers.
Mm-hmm. I know in some media, Hellboy can regrow his horns, but
Didn't I hear somewhere that the horns gave him some sort of evil power, or am I just remembering wrong?
I don't remember. There's a couple things I need to kind of remind myself with the Hellboy lore, but
one of my favorite bits of Hellboy is that supposedly the main reason he decided to fight for humanity is because he was given pancakes and loved it so much. He's like, I must protect the pancakes.
Also cats. Apparently he really likes cats.
Believe it or not, pancakes also bit of a spoiler. Pancakes also been to, well, okay. One of Mimi's longest lasting in like I keep forgetting the word, but like one of the strongest bonds she's ever had with someone began with pancakes.
Yes. Pancakes save lives.
Yeah.
I mean, pancakes are delicious.
Yeah, and they apparently give you the willpower to say fuck the devil.
I mean, hey, if you had a really good pancake, then you know that there's stuff to live for. That being said, this is really really off topic, I know, but I personally hate wheat cakes. I don't like the texture. It's so crumbly. Ugh.
What's a wheat cake?
Think pancake, but with wheats in it.
I'm Googling it.
Like, it's a wheat pancake, basically.
I was saying it was a spoiler because last session we also had a moment where pancakes were being cooked, and I remember Sugashi noticing Mimi cry.
While you were eating pancakes.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying it. That was kind of a bit of a spoiler, but one I'm willing to divulge.
Okay, so
the last one is less the character, in a sense, and more the movie, because again, I want to stress that something I think for those who've been following me in particular for a while, you probably know that even some of you probably already know this. Mimi was created before this campaign. Mimi was created for a completely different campaign ran by someone else, and there ended up being a lot more and I noticed at the end of it, towards the end of it, how many, albeit probably unintentional, but still palpable connections there were to the movie. And so I figured technically it probably would have worked better to put Maleficent here, but less because she's who I would have based off of, and more how she would have been like a good foil, because both are ultimately, because in the story, in that campaign, the main quest giver, who was a princess, by the way, ended up being put into a long slumber for trying to remember all the reasons, but so I figured that was funny. That was the big thing that I connected the two with, though. So I apologize if it seems like I'm dwelling on that. I can't formulate the thoughts right now. I'm sorry. Basically, the idea was, it's almost kind of like a weird take on like Mimi's story that ended up taking a weird take on the Sleeping Beauty story. So that was kind of the reason I decided to put that as the last one. It just kind of, I guess, fit more.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My mind is. I'm trying to formulate the thoughts, but my mind is blanking.
Ah, no problem.
It's all good. I mean, that's basically my life, so I understand.
Yeah, words can be hard to formulate, but
Words?
Yeah, what are words? What even
words
are
are
words?
illegal. It's ban words.
Ban communication. In fact, everyone in this chat, stop talking right now.
Fuck!
Don't actually listen to me. What the fuck? Why did you listen to me?
Because you're the DM.
Oh, right, I am.
Alrighty. Okay, but yeah, so yep, I think that pretty much at least takes care of that. So I guess audience, do you guys have any random questions that you'd like to ask us? And I think while we wait to see if the audience asks for anything, I got here's a random question for all of us, and Jordan, you included. Okay. What is like a character? What is your guys' favorite character interaction that does not involve your character?
Oh, that's a hard one.
There's a few that's coming to mind, but I'm just trying to see which one I'm settling on.
I think my personal favorite, ironically enough, has to be the interaction when Ismark is like, "Do you have the letter?" and stuff like that. When we gave the letter to Ismark and Irina.
Yeah, he was asking
Sugash.
after the vampire spawn battle. He was asking Sugash if he did indeed have his dad's letter, and lo and behold, he did. He read it, and
forgave Sugash and the party.
And honestly, Ismark forgave him. Irina didn't, but Ismark forgave Sugash, and he also picked up on, hey, I know you and Garl have been at this for a while, and we know this whole situation's been difficult for you, but just know that I'm here for you when you need me.
And that's why he's the member of the round table and Irina is not.
Yeah, Irina is a bit more vindictive. It's like but thinking in her perspective, Irina thinks highly of her family and no one else, and if anyone were to keep anything from her family or from her, then she sees them as untrustworthy. So yeah, when you guys get to Valaki, you'll have to earn her trust back.
All right.
I also gave her that mentality because she's a year older than Kira, so she's 19 here. So she still has a bit of that hot blood in her.
Oh God.
Honestly, no. Because I broke it down, I would say that's one of my favorite interactions too.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's like I said, like, I love the interactions between Kedrot and Illison. They are wholesome and sugary sweet as hell. You know. So it's like, you know, yeah, so if you want some wholesome goodness, you know, that's a good way to go. Otherwise, yeah, I know I mentioned this before, but I liked Ricky just verbally pimp smacking Casimir. You know, I thought that was a great moment because it was like I think really that was because like I know Ricky, I know the way Letter's playing him is that, you know, he's very cautious and keeps to himself a lot, so it's, you know, it's kind of up to us, like the party, to kind of like really bring out the real Ricky. But that was like really like the first I think that was like really like the first moment where we actually got a glimpse of who Ricky actually was his dialogue with Casimir, and it was just so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it helped break Casimir out of his depression because, you know, he's seen so many just to remind people, he's seen so many adventures like them, you know, try and defeat Strahd, and they all failed. So, and speaking as someone who's a member of a race of elves who are only down to the men now, like all the children and women were, you know, killed right in front of them. He was devoid of hope, but Ricky, who's basically the super lancer, gave him hope.
Okay. And it's like, you know, now that I think about it, like probably like another moment that I did like, and it was from the last session, I did like Sugash, Ricky, and Mimi, like their little conversation. And just especially like, I mean, Ark technically, even though Mimi was using Ark's trophies, Ark really wasn't involved in that. But I loved the fact that, you know, okay, like, yeah, Mimi can do this whole communing with the dead thing, and it's like, I loved how, in the end, it was Mimi that came up with the idea that it's like, we can communicate with the dead. Wait a minute! Ark has corpses! We can use that! Like, you would think that would be a Ricky thing. That'd be something he would pull out. But, no, it was all Mimi. And I was like, I don't know why, I really liked that.
Yeah, and she did it despite her own feelings on necromancy. Actually, we didn't point this out, but when Ricky was knocked unconscious the first time, Mimi was this close to, you know, using Revivify on him, but, which, technically we kind of did, metagame this a little bit and just resulted in the potion, but, in a knee-jerk reaction, Mimi was prepared to forego her morals to save someone.
Mm-hmm.
Black Eye Lugia has a good question.
Oh, let me see. Any thoughts about doing homebrew campaigns after Curse of Strahd, or do you tend to stick to modules?
I mean,
this is our first ever module, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, it's mostly.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we've mostly been playing with homebrew stuff.
Yeah. Like
I started on homebrew with these guys.
Yeah, like the Abode campaign that we keep referencing, that was a homebrew. A lot of the one-shots, if not all the one-shots that we do, whether we stream them or not, they're all homebrew. So yeah, Curse of Strahd right now is like, yeah, for our group, it's the first module we're doing.
Yeah, and gotta say, when I was first getting into D&D, like I didn't even know how to read modules to begin with, so I just didn't even attempt it. Which is why I went homebrew, because it was just a bit easier to grasp. That and I got to learn different rules while hitting the ground running, but with the module, now that I know what I know, it's nice to have things you don't have to necessarily write down new things for, but even then, I still have that itch where it's like, okay, this is good, but I can do better. But I think that's the draw with modules. Like, you don't have to create everything, but they do give you things to work with.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the entire plot of Curse of Strahd is something you can homebrew. Like, the whole point of it is it's a mystery, and it's up to you as the DM and then the players to figure out, okay, why is Strahd doing what he's doing? Why is he such a bitch? And how can we stop him?
And for the love of God, how thirsty is this man?
Oh my.
I mean, given that he has 3 consorts, super thirsty.
only
You could make, like,
3.
At least he didn't make clones of himself to use as consorts.
Ah!
That
And
that
and now you put that image in my head. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
Jordan, when you play
I
Rowan,
didn't
you know,
want to
that-
think about that.
That's completely unrelated.
It's like
Kira screams eternally.
yeah,
SCP member 1155 said, "Hello, my fellow weirdos. Just going off of a session of Splatoon 2. What's going on? Chill stream. We're just talking about.
yep, just
We were recapping the past couple episodes. We were talking about character inspirations for the people that are here, and apart from apart from now just taking questions, we were answering one that Danny had, which is our favorite interactions we've had so far with characters, apart that don't include our own characters.
yeah. I figured it'd be a good opportunity to really let's talk about like everybody else's RPing.
Yeah, including my own, because
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, Jordan, you play.
everybody else.
Yeah, it's like we only play one character. Jordan plays all the characters.
I think for me it'd have to be like any of the more comedic arc moments. I really like those. I can't pick one, but yeah, I just generally really like them.
Ark is surprisingly our funniest character in this party.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like again, right now in the story, he's not very funny, but hopefully we will get back to that.
Actually, Danny, that just reminds you of when during the session where Kedra had to drown Ark to like try to prove that he was undying. I know Maniac posted in the chat where it's like, he had his own take of an interaction where Kedra pulls him out and he goes, "So Ark, how are you feeling?" What?
It's like, yeah, it's like I wish I had thought of that, because that would have been the proper response.
I also did give a little bit of a scenario where you're like, okay, so you're underwater, but you're less preoccupied with drowning and more like going, oh, so this is what an inside of a well looks like. I'm okay with this. Interesting.
If I had a favorite, and the first thing I come in on is that image. Why did I come here? What image?
Multiple Strahds.
Oh,
Kira's
No.
worst nightmare.
At this point, all of our worst nightmares.
no, he'd be too busy with himself.
Jesus. That is a disgusting image. Get out of my head.
No, Daddy. It's like who's a handsome devil? And it's like, who's the most handsome guy here? You are, you handsome devil. Oh, you're terrible.
Oh, you're terrible.
Oh yes.
Yes, yes.
Kira be
I
like,
mean, I guess I'm gonna answer as my characters anyway, because again, as the dungeon master, you don't just roleplay one character, you roleplay all of them. Anything involving Strahd is good, because the best way to run Strahd is to have him show up when you least expect him.
Mm-hmm.
And That way, the aim is to keep the players on edge or scare them, but mainly to keep them, feeling with a sense of dread. Because if you just keep throwing in Strahd over and over again, then no one's going to be afraid of him.
Yeah.
I like to think we've been careful with Strahd so far. He isn't showing up every single session, but his presence is definitely felt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I also get to show off my writing chops with him, so that's another thing.
All right.
I would mention Frank as well, but he kind of doesn't count because he's my original character. He's just our particular group's running gag.
Yes.
We love him. He's a good
Yes.
boy.
Thank you.
Going back to the question Danny asked about favorite character interactions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why this one's the one I come to the most, but Corey talking down Garl.
Ooh, that was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, where Corey negotiated with him and Garl listened.
He's like, yeah, because Strahd had pretty much kicked all of our asses, and now here comes Garl to finish it off, and here comes Corey for the save.
I wish we could have reformed the Garl.
You nearly would have too, but guy stuck to his guns even when he was cured.
At least he was reformed in death.
Yeah. The weird thing, he sounded way more sane after he was cured. Instead of sounding like this, he sounded more like this.
What voice were you going for that, Carl? By the way, I'm curious.
Taskmaster from Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man.
Ah, okay. It's just curious.
I get to watch and learn.
Is that the new Spider-Man?
The Insomniac Spidey. Although technically, Taskmaster is a Marvel villain in general. He doesn't stick to one hero.
Is it the new Insomniac game or newish? I mean.
No, he was. He was in the first one.
Yeah, he was in the first one.
Wait, how many Spider-Man games are there?
Too many.
There's
Too many.
okay, well, in terms of the Insomniac ones in general, there's just Spider-Man, the first game. Then there's Spider-Man Miles Morales, the second game, and Spider-Man 2 is coming out later.
Oh, I thought Miles Morales was the first one. Okay.
No. It's second.
Outside
game.
of the old PS2 ones and stuff with the memes.
Oh, you're thinking of Spider-Man 2, the movie Spider-Man 2.
No, I know what you mean with Insomniac and stuff, but I just mean that I thought there was only one Insomniac game. That's why I was confused.
No.
Nah. I mean, if they stopped at just Spider-Man PS4, it would have been a hell of a note to end off on, because it's such a good standalone game.
Yeah, I heard
Just
good
don't,
things.
just don't say the B word and you're fine.
What, Beanox?
Brains.
No.
No, it was when we were talking about Frank.
What?
Bread.
Did you say... Oh, bread. Oh, I do not mind bread.
But you just hear one guy go, but aren't buns just bread?
I will slice your throat and feed it to you!
I was like, one of these days, you gotta just make Frank a playable character. What the hell?
no.
What the hell would he be?
No, Danny, it's
Finance-
funny.
Warlock.
Me and Jordan often joke about Frank being a super boss.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
The best joke about there will be a Frank super boss is that it will never happen. Because he'd be too powerful, and I don't want to TPK you guys.
Frank is just the Daedric Lord.
Yeah. Actually, if he were to be a class, I'm actually gonna think about this seriously.
Like a warlock, and his patron is like a pig demon or something.
He
Wow.
is
Maybe,
no patron.
maybe.
his patron is Lord Chuckles, the silly piggy.
Hey, you know what, Corey? I think he would be a warlock. We just don't know what his deity is, but that's the horror behind it. You don't know you don't know who or what he worships.
Ganondorf.
But it's beyond the veil.
Yeah, it's Ganondorf.
Ganondorf.
Or the Pigmeister. I don't know.
I'm still all for Lord Chuckles, the silly piggy.
No. Danny, here's a better
his
one.
His Eldritch Blast causes fire damage because, it's like a boiling ball of water and it causes, like, scalding heat. That's his Eldritch Blast.
Danny, I got a better one.
Yeah?
Fat nuggets.
What?
Angel Dust's pet pig from Aspen Hotel.
Oh.
It's like, we literally don't know shit about this character. We just know that, Angel Dust has a little pet demon pig and its name is Fat Nuggets. That's literally all we know about it. Is its name is Fat Nuggets, and that's Frank's patron. He pledged to a spider stripper's pig.
But no, yeah, the main thing with Frank is that he's a brick joke, and yes, he will appear in Phantom of the Forest one of these days, just not right now, because I want you guys to savor every moment he's a part of. Because if he's kind of like Strahd, if I just throw him in every situation, he's not going to be funny anymore.
Yeah, like, if you tell the same joke too many times, it's just not going to be funny.
Exactly. Like, God forbid someone makes a compilation of Frank moments. The video itself would be short, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean that's why. I mean, even if you bring him into every campaign, have it be like, just make sure he's used sparingly and maybe used in a much more I don't want to say like use it in a way that makes his appearance.
He doesn't overstay his welcome.
Yeah, and just not be the same thing as the last time. You know?
The trick with Frank is to have you guys not expect him to be there.
I'm sad face.
And then he comes, and then he goes.
Okay, SCP asks, what is your opinions on some of the homebrewed classes or races, like, say, Blood Hunter, Investigator, or, in the way of races, Sketches?
I don't know the other
We're
two,
talking
but
about
Blood
that before
Hunter...
stream.
Yeah, before the stream, I was saying if we do more one-shots, I would, out of curiosity, would like to play a Blood Hunter, just to know what it's like, because obviously, another associate of ours... mostly Brian, TP, and I, Dr. Crafty, he hates the fuck out of Blood Hunters. So I would like to know, okay, so I know the bad stuff, what about the good stuff? And also, I would like to play one just to satiate my, curiosity behind it.
I
don't know about
in my
the other
other
two,
group,
though.
we use a lot of stuff from Mage Hand Press. So right now I'm playing a Alchemist Rat. So it's like a standalone Alchemist class rather than the Artificer Alchemist.
Oh.
And he's a little rat.
Aw.
And what's funny is that I've actually made my own homebrew race, and it was originally going to be a character for when Danny was going to conduct her own D&D campaign, and when I suggested the idea to her, she was immediately on board with it, and that was, I made the Bone Creature from the Jeff Smith Bone comics.
Amazing story, by the way.
Yes, definitely read it.
Yeah, so I was like, when Ryan pitched that idea, I'm like, yes, I don't care, yes.
Yeah, so basically, the idea behind the Bone Creature is that, so they can either be a medium or a small-sized creature, and the whole thing is that their biggest shtick is that they like to do improvised weapons, because in the books, The Bone Cousins didn't really have their own specific weapons per se. They just kind of found things on the ground and used those as ways to protect themselves. Like they'll throw rocks at people. They'll try to use the environment to get away from others. The only instance of them actually picking up a weapon is when Smiley Bone briefly picked up King Doc's club. And but because of that. I also made it so that bone creatures don't really have an affinity for magic. So a lot of the things that they do, you could probably flavor some of the things that they do, magic wise. It's just something that they just improvise on the eyes or something. Like, oh, I'll put this and this together. It's like, oh look, taste fire, boof.
Yeah, or so if you want to play, I don't know, a bone creature wizard, so say they cast Fireball, you'll have to rely on strictly material components.
Yeah.
I cast Fireball.
Yeah, and the one that I made for this is the character that I made for Danny's campaign. His name is Axis Bone, and he's a fucking gremlin.
Oh, I remember him now.
Yeah, to the basic degree.
Yeah, so his whole thing was that he lived with a rather poor family until after being forced by. After his family was forced to basically give money they couldn't pay off to aristocrats, Axis was then taken by said aristocrats away from his family, and due to basically having his entire childhood robbed by them, he's come to despise anyone who is of a very highly rich status. So to get back at them, he basically burned their fortune to the ground and then just ran off.
Ah, yes. It's I don't know if we'll ever get to that campaign or not, but...
Wait, maybe one day.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I remember when I made all the gods for you, and that was a fun experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Is it just lack of organization time, or what?
It's just knowing when the hell to do it, really. Because I think, because I was because I know we're doing Curse of Strahd. I know we want to go back to the Abode. I know Boone wants to do a campaign set in Ravnica. So, it's just we've all got things that we want to do. So, at this point, it's just a matter of...
to be honest...
When?
To be honest, I'm willing to wait on the Abode reboot. Because...
Dude, if you'll let me, then I'd like to play an evil person in your campaign, Danny.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, Dana and I were actually going back and forth on that in the text chat.
I like
one
evil.
interpretation. One interpretation of the alignment system, at least in the way of good or evil, is good is selfless, bad is selfish.
Yeah, rather than outright good and evil, it's more selfish, selfless.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, that's honestly a good way to look at the alignment system, because, true, if taken as is, then, you're kind of hardwired into one mindset, chaotic evil, it's oh, you must be the Joker. But no. You could be probably a gremlin who's super duper selfish, but you could still be capable of doing good things if it suits you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like evil, but I don't like the sort of evil where it's they just got to go around kicking puppies for no reason.
Right.
That isn't even useful to you. Why are you bothering?
Right.
It's really not.
Fuck you, Dio.
Yeah.
No, but even don't get me wrong. Dio is a bastard. He's a hammy as fuck glorious bastard. But even Araki gave Dio some semblance of a history, so it kind of makes sense why he'd go around kicking Jonathan's dog.
Yeah, honestly.
So there is a method to Dio's madness.
Is it a good method? No, but that's why he's Dio.
Right. That's why we love him.
Yeah.
Also, Brian, did CC just jump into your room?
No. In
I
fact,
thought I
my
heard
door.
now.
No, my door's closed, so she can't. But I will say, this stream managed to help me find 2 shinies.
Oh,
Yay.
cool. What are the shinies?
Voodoo and Onyx.
Badu and Onyx. Okay.
Badoo!
I just noticed the 3 of us just pronounced Badu super differently.
It's okay.
Bad deal.
Yeah, well, that's like it's like the inside joke with me now when it comes to the Gibbles. I don't call them Gibbles. I call them Giblies.
Studio
Ghibli.
Gibble.
What about Ghibleh?
I like saying Gibble
Gibble.
though.
Ghibleh sounds like a Mexican restaurant.
I mean,
I just-
to be fair, when I was a young wee thing, I used to call Zapdos Zapados.
Zapdos.
How many people
Or-
have said?
I mean, you still kind of do that with Scanlan. You call him Scanlan sometimes.
And what were you saying, TP?
I mean, Reggie Ice. We say it's supposed to be just Reggie Ice though, because it's Reggie Rock, Reggie Steel, Reggie Gigas, Reggie
We've just make the executive decision that Game Freak
you
fucked
should-
up. It's Reggie Ice.
Yeah, you should have heard me when, as a kid who doesn't watch the Pokemon anime, I still don't watch the anime.
Same.
But when Black and White first came out, when I saw Snivy's name, Little Jordan pronounced his name as Snivy.
No.
Like
I thought Snivy because of Ivy.
like Snively from Sonic Sat AM, only without the L. It's just Snivy.
Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
can see Snivy too.
Okay.
I just thought Snivy because, Ivy.
Okay.
Apparently, little me wasn't smart enough to figure the pun out. Like, actually, it took me until recent years to realize, wait a minute, most Pokemon names are puns. Even the badass ones.
I had a friend who kept pronouncing Ralts as Rattles.
Rattles!
Yeah, I don't quite
The
understand
L is
that one.
before the T.
Actually, okay,
Yep.
for example, guys, did you know that the etymology behind Lucario's name is based off of the mythical metal Orichalcum?
I knew that.
No.
Yep, same here.
Thanks,
And
Bulbapedia.
actually, its shiny is said to be the same color as Orichalcum, yellow.
Yeah. In fact, Jordan, you want to know another way you can find that inspiration? Spell
Yeah.
Lucario's name backwards.
Yeah.
Same with Rotom. Like
Qualia.
Rotom is backwards as yeah.
I will say the one pronunciation I will still never get over in my life is when I heard someone pronounce Lapras as Lapras.
I was about to bring that up eventually, but yes. Like, hey, do you like Lapras or Lapras?
Oh yeah, brothers, Lepres! Let's go!
Lapras!
Praise the Lord!
Lapras the Lord.
As I
Hell yeah,
smite
brothers!
my vengeance
Glory
upon thee.
Kyogre.
Hey, I don't know if we ever got back to the question, but you remember how we were asking earlier? Danny asked the question earlier.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever got an answer from you, Brian.
Favorite RP moments that
Yeah.
don't revolve your characters?
Yeah. Honestly, I will say one moment that I do like, and I don't think enough of us really talk about it that much. When Sugash talked to the Burgermeister about going after his political ideas, these are serious things that people need to talk about. I think that was a really fun moment.
Okay.
Sad face. Nobody likes any of my moments.
No one said we didn't. Calm down.
Or Kira's best moment is yet to come.
Look, I'm sure that for all of us, we still have. First off, we have a full campaign. We've got.
Yeah, we've got a long way to go. In fact, in terms of the main plot, we just got started.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, okay, so here's another random question. Okay. With your characters, let's suspend reality and say, okay, on another timeline of sort, what class would you play your character as other than what you're playing now?
Can that be a different domain?
Probably, yeah.
Like for instance, playing me. I play Mimi as a life cleric. Would it be? Would a different type of cleric count?
I would say so.
I would probably say so.
I don't think there's rules against it.
I would say.
I would
say so if only just because, like, I know with clerics, no cleric really you can argue this with any subclass, but this is especially true with clerics. No two subclasses are alike. That's where it's like clerics, it's like, Mimi is currently focusing on getting the best heals, but yeah, if she was to play a different subclass, that would pretty much mean you're playing a completely different style.
Yeah, and Jester from Critical Role, she was the cleric, but she honestly, from what I remember, didn't do didn't do a lot of healing. In fact, she doesn't even have proficiency in medkits.
Honestly, clerics aren't really for healing in D&D anyway.
Except if you play Life Cleric, which is the best cleric
Exactly.
who ever clericked. But you can be, a cleric who deals damage, or a cleric who just takes hits, or, well, again, you can just be a cleric who pisses off their enemies.
I feel like people sort of shove cleric into the healing role too much, when it's like, you've got, a stealth cleric too,
Yeah,
there's so
war
many
clerics.
types of
I mean, I'm going to defend the stereotype, I guess.
Oh, I'm talking purely 5e. For previous things, it's fine.
I'm just saying in general. I'm pretty sure that that's closer to the definition. I don't know. Plus,
Traditionally it was, but...
Okay.
I'm not entirely certain how many classes there are that are. And again, I may chalk this up more to me being not terribly knowledgeable on D&D, but I'm not entirely sure how many classes there are that are more supportive based or healing based or whatever.
Honestly, there's a lot.
Cleric has over 12 or 14 domains so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a lot.
Yeah, cleric is crazy when it comes to subclasses.
Clerics are the most versatile class in my opinion.
There's only really 3 subclasses of cleric that are outright great for healing. So that's Life, Grave, and Twilight.
Yeah. Okay. That being said, we're getting away from the point.
Yeah.
So
Mimi, what would your subclass be in a different timeline? Go.
Well, I'm gonna also think about a different class altogether. But I guess if I had to pick I'm just gonna pick a different class. If I were to be more into the idea, okay, first off, bye SCP.
Yes, bye SCP. Thank you for coming.
Hi.
If you see, okay. Also, I wanted to clarify. Part of the reason I picked a cleric was also because when I initially started that campaign with other people, the one that Mimi was created for, I didn't know much about the other classes, so I didn't realize that paladins could heal. But I also didn't know if there were many support-based classes. So hence I went with healer.
Mm-hmm.
If that wasn't an issue, and I were to go and we had another cleric, and we didn't have another one of these, part of me would probably go rogue.
Ooh.
Going more into. First off, a lot of rogues end up being very the stereotype of rogues is I feel like goes into being the silent killers. You do things quietly. You'd hide yourself, you'd camouflage yourself. That could have also went into the that still could have gone into the character. That still could have gone into everything. I felt like that probably would but that would probably also fall more in line with the Pokemon that she was based on. Because if you don't know, in the games, Mimikyu is a Pokemon who is pretty fast and takes advantage of its ability to give it one free turn so that it can buff its stats up. So I feel like using the speedy aspect of could I don't know, and the sneak attack stuff I guess could have also worked because in the shadows.
Not to
Probably,
mention Mimikyu strong.
yeah,
Very strong.
yeah. The
It could
Pokemon,
learn
not
Woodhammer.
that's just because of its tail. For the record, the Pokemon Mimikyu is strong. Mimi is not physically strong at all.
Nope.
I have an answer.
Oh.
Only if you're done though.
Are you done, Mimi?
Yeah.
Okay, Corey, you're up next.
Yeah, well, I was actually sort of thinking about it the other day, honestly. Because I was sort of thinking of trying to see what I can do and remake Cory as an artificer.
Oh.
You know, that arm, you have a good reason.
I mean, okay.
Maybe multi-classed into sorcerer or wizard, depending. Like, sorcerer if I can get to work, but wizard obviously already meshes.
Oh, that would be pretty cool. Okay, I guess I'll go next. So, I mean, yeah, not playing a barbarian or fighter, because I technically multi-classed into fighter. I would think maybe for Arc, to keep with the hunter aspect, probably ranger.
Yeah, ranger.
I would think like that would probably be the one that would make the next sense for him. I mean, of course, that's a completely different play style, because now it's like, rather than just, flying in with brute force, now it's going to be like, hey, I'm in the air shooting arrows, come and hit me, you bitches. It's like, I think like...
And we're like, hey, hunter's mark, bam!
yeah, I mean, really, it's like, I know you technically don't have to play a ranger as strictly bow and arrow, but I'm a bird that can fly. Do you think I wouldn't pick a weapon, like, just take off into the air, pick shots, and just be like, yeah, come and hit me now? So it's like, it could work. So yeah, like, I would think, if I wasn't doing barbarian or fighter with Arc, ranger would probably be the next best thing for him.
Yeah. Alright, let's go to Kira next, and then we'll, end it off with Brian.
Alright. Well, to go on to the kind of a previous thing, I built Kira to be kind of like the jack of all trades kind of character. Where, okay, she does the healing, she does the buffs, but she also does the damage. But if I was to reclass her, if we didn't actually have quite a bit of a healer, I think I probably would have classed her into a cleric.
So,
also,
live cleric?
Yeah, live cleric / I would actually pick a different dragon blood as well. Because, like, when you go divine dragon sorcerer, you could actually, like, pick a different dragon trait, and it gives you, like, certain perks to it. So instead of being a gold dragon, I would have picked her to be a brass dragon.
I mean, okay, with Divine Soul, it's not dragon specifically, but, it's the theming behind, Bahamut, who's your patron.
Yeah.
But no. Divine Soul in general, it doesn't specifically say dragon as the main thing.
Yeah.
Draconic sorcerers, however, they're more dragon-based.
Yeah.
Divine Soul is any sort of divine thing. It can even be an evil
celestial
thing. Yeah.
And actually, your divine magic changes based on your affinity. So, if you're good, you can cast Cure Wounds.
And Bless.
But if your affinity is chaotic, you get Bane.
Yeah.
If you're a naughty boy, you get the bane.
Yeah. And, if you're evil, you get inflict wounds.
And if you're a terrorist,
You get inflict wounds.
BRB making a terrorist character.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say probably Kira. Also to change up the subclass, even though I love sorcerers because they do like so much cute, well not cute, really cool things. I would probably have changed Kira into a wizard,
I could see that.
divine wizard to be precise, because you can roll 2 dice and
Hold on. That doesn't sound
Theurgy.
like a class. Hang on.
There is a
Wizard?
Theurgy one, but
Hang on.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
looking it up
Yeah,
now.
I know.
That doesn't sound.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know wizards and clerics. I think those are the two classes where they actually have the most subclasses. Like, there's a lot of wizards.
I think
there's
it
an
was
Unearthed Arcana.
We don't use Unearthed Arcana, just so you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't
remember
sure
you
if you were
mentioning
aware of
that.
this, Kira, but we do not use Unearthed Arcana because, well, it's kind of unreliable, and also it could potentially be game breaking. But yeah, we
It
don't
usually
use
isn't,
it for that
but
reason.
sometimes it is.
Yeah. I'm looking at the different schools. None of them involve divine magic.
I thought it was divinity sorcerer. I guess not divinity sorcerer. I mean divinity.
But there is a divination wizard, but divination.
That's not the same thing. Divination is
that's more like
Fortune telling.
it's fortune telling.
divining the future.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
augury, or basically, you see into the future, or you try and figure things out.
Yeah, divination wizard, from what it sounds like, actually sounds kind of badass. Just because, like, one of their abilities, like, I mean, you can literally, like, it's more about I can pick and choose my dice rolls. So I can say, like, you want to talk about giving, like, the middle finger to the campaign? They'll be like, okay, now I'm gonna do something. Fuck you, you get a 1. It's like,
that was when I was first trying out D&D. Somebody told me to try that class or that type of wizard.
yeah, it sounds fun.
I really want to make one multi-class of Arcane Trickster Rogue.
Ooh,
Arcade Trickster Rogue, pretty fun.
okay. Alrighty, so then I guess Brian, if Kedrot was not going to be a paladin, what would you make him?
I don't know. I'd probably say the only other thing I would see fitting for him would maybe be fighter, but maybe mixed with a bit of Eldritch Knight.
Okay.
Yeah, Eldritch Knight is a fighter subclass.
Yeah, because funny enough, for the abode, that was originally what we were flavoring Riona as, because we were making her a fighter, but like we made her
we made her subclass was samurai, but
but like we were able to like give her magic adapt to like actually allow her to like use spells, like very similar to an Eldritch Knight.
Yeah, it's only you only get a handful of stuff though.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't mind as long as she could still still like use like her typical spells that she's usually known for using, like ice, lightning, wind.
Yeah, although I think if we're gonna go back into the abode, I think outright making a original subclass for Riona is in order.
Right.
Like, making something specifically for her.
Okay.
So it would be heavily homebrewed, but I think we could do it.
Okay.
Could be the same deal for Lele, but yeah.
If it could be done for Talos and Jaffe.
Yeah, it can be done for the critical role staff, but yeah.
Okay. All right, and then I saw somebody had asked about multi-classing. Like, I know, Kira, Corey, and Ark right now are the only ones that actually have multi-classed. But, I guess, Brian, TP, do you guys consider multiclassing, or are you staying pure paladin, pure cleric?
I feel like Kedrot would stay pure paladin. I don't know what else I could see him like multi-classing into.
Yeah, I'm sticking pure cleric.
Okay. And it's like, and it's a shame we don't have Ricky or Sugash.
I feel like Sugash mentioned it, but
Yeah, honestly, knowing Boone, he's definitely gonna. He's probably gonna subclass eventually.
No, guys, by his own admission, we're not making fun of Boone in any situation. He outright stated himself that he is a min-maxer. So multiclassing is definitely his way of doing things, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's like min-maxing has its place sometimes, which like I guess like actually can you clarify what exactly does the term min-maxing mean for people in the audience who have no idea what the fuck that term means?
Min-maxing is essentially optimizing your character pretty much down to perfection, so it works in the most optimized level. On the one hand, you get some really cool stuff out of it, and whatever you plan to make your build, you get some interesting synergy with your different class abilities. On the other hand, you could get a broken mess. For example, Rogue Paladin. Sneak attack plus smite.
Yeah. Well, like, because here's the thing, too, because at the same time, I can kind of understand how Boone feels in that regard, because I'm somewhat the same way, too. Like, I like to make sure that when it comes to, like, especially when it does come to combat, I like to make sure I'm optimized enough to actually take on the challenge ahead, because it's like, God forbid you have that one DM who's just like, they throw something at you that literally nobody in your party could actually beat, and it's like, how is this a fair challenge?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, I think and honestly, that's kind of the line of thinking I was taking with Arc too, because it's like, there, the only reason I multiclassed into fighter is just to have more battle options. Because Arc is just he's just pure brute force, and fighter gives you some interesting ideas and stuff. I mean, it's like, action surge. You take an extra action. It's like, I know both barbarians and fighters, like several classes, but I know for both barbarian and fighter, at some point, they get extra attack. So basically, Arc would have one attack, an extra attack, action surge, take a third attack. I mean, it's like,
of course, if they do get extra attack, they don't stack, I believe, but...
But that's purely the reason why I went down the fighting route with Arc, it's more battle options. It had nothing to do with story or anything whatsoever.
Yeah. The only thing with extra attack is that depending on your level ups, you just get more extra attack.
Yeah. But
it's like, I will say, because it's like, I can understand like where like Boone comes from with like wanting to make sure he's fully prepared. The thing too is like the other thing too is that I also like to make sure that what it is I'm asking for is at least reasonable within the grounds of D&D, because then you have that other side of the mid-maxers where their characters are literally so broken and powerful that nobody else gets to play the game.
Yeah, they outshine them, which I frown upon.
Yeah, which it's actually that's actually part of the big thing, because Danny, I remember when you were I think you did a one-shot one time just to try to at least like get a bit of an idea of like how it is to DM. Like I believe it was with me, Jordan, and TP.
Yeah.
I actually made Kamiko for it.
Yeah.
And then I never used him again because he was so fucking broken.
He was.
No, to be fair, Brian, my rolls were consistently shit, alright? Like, I rolled low so many times, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, that's why I kind of also multi-class Kira into Sorcerer, because, like, yes, Warlocks are cool, but they have so little spell slots.
Yeah, they really do.
I mean, okay. The thing with Warlocks is that, yeah, they have minimal spell slots, but they cast their spells at full power. That's the draw with them.
Yeah.
So that's not really a bad thing. It's just their playstyle.
Yeah, it's like at full power.
Invitation's also really strong with warlocks too.
Yeah, it's like they either cast at full power, or it'll be like, oh hey, you can cast this spell as many times as you want. Spell slots be damned. Detect magic all the fuck you want. It's a...
You also get pacts. For example, Pacted Blade gives you a special weapon. You can make any weapon you want.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah.
Make it a rubber ducky that you hit people.
You can even make it a rubber ducky, yeah. No one says you can't.
Mm-hmm. You squeak it, it's quack quack, and it creates a giant boom burst that hits opponents.
Quack quack, Eldritch Blast.
TP, your weapon is just a cutout of Mark Ruffalo.
Oh my god.
This enemy gets 5 Mark Rufflos.
My character just turns into ordinary sausage.
Hey, the session starts. Hey, well, hey there, folks, and welcome back. I guess.
My favorite part about one of my favorite things is just opening a session with fucking Hoopa.
Fucking Hoopa.
Fucking Hoopa.
Fucking Hoopa. That was the last session, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Drop it
Fuck
like
Hoopa.
I have.
Yeah, you know what? To be fair, Hoopa's signature move is Dimension Door.
No, Hoopa would definitely be a bard. Maybe multiclass into barbarian for Hoopa Unbound.
Oh god.
Guys, we figured it out. We know how to play Hoopa in D&D. Bard / barbarian.
A barbarian.
The barbarian, yeah.
Yeah. Now don't do it if you want your dignity.
Straw be like, I have no fear. Hoopa, I have one fear.
Did he just Dimension Door out of Barovia? What? That's fucking bullshit.
Even the Vistani can't believe it.
And then Hoopa comes back and is like, I got ice cream.
No.
Were you surprised?
No, TP, he comes back with an army. Fuck.
No, and then Hoopa says, were you surprised?
An army of Hoopas.
Yeah, like, how to end Curse of Strahd in one session, have Hoopa.
Never.
No.
It's like Avengers Endgame. All these portals open up. It's nothing but Hoopas.
Hoopas! Were you surprised?
I forgot.
That movie sucked.
Endgame?
What were we talking about again?
No, the Hoopa movie. Basically, what characters would be multi-class into?
I have a hot take. I actually kind of like that movie.
Alright. Okay. That's our only response. Like, okay.
Good.
Saitama. Okay.
It's just really funny because the mask consensus for the movie's like it's one of the worst ones ever, and it's like I kind of liked it.
You know what?
Stares menacingly get the Genesect movie.
You know what? Different strokes, different folks.
Yeah.
I
don't think I can sit through it though.
I know in my person, like if I go,
Yeah.
I know I understand people going back to the discussion of min-maxing. I
Right.
have a problem with it necessarily. I just don't do it because I know in my case, I think more about. I think more like because of who I am. I think more about the character I am and the character I want to be over what would be the best fit. Because I'm sure most clerics, many clerics, you could argue one of their best things are some of the necromancy spells that that they can have. And for my character, I'm like, I'm not picking any of them because I refuse to for the sake of my character.
Yeah, you do it for roleplay reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually happened in the abode with Boone's character. Because originally he played Bakuhatsu as like a rogue and an artificer, and then at some point he decided, oh, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna multi-class again because I can. So he actually had 3 classes. So like he had like a couple of classes artificer, a couple of classes rogue, and then he took a paladin.
Okay, correction. He started as rogue first, went into artificer, and then he went into paladin because, you know, the goddess of wind took a liking to him.
Yeah, like that was purely narrative. I mean, Boone even said, Boone was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's go. You know, it's like
it makes no sense for my character to do this, but thematically, I just think it's appropriate.
yeah. So he actually
Not to mention, if you look at his classes acronym-wise, what do you get?
Rap. It's rap.
Yes.
And Boone is a very big music junkie. In fact, probably the biggest music junkie here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much so that he called the acoustic recent acoustic version of Live and Learn as not a true acoustic because it uses synths.
Yeah.
He didn't say it sounded bad, but the naming was incorrect apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, I'm sure for the likes of say Boone and Ricky, I'm sure like eventually they'll see this video out and they'll just be, and when it gets to it, they'll probably like answer some of the questions that were in the stream, like in the comments.
Yeah, something.
Right.
Yeah. To at least give you guys something.
So yeah, guys, if you're watching this VOD, this is your opportunity.
Also, we miss
can
you.
Just wait for the next one, and we miss you too. Yes. But yeah. Granted, this one is a little weird considering that we waited for 4 episodes to do this, but
It's fine. We need little chill streams like these to kind of like break it up a little bit.
yeah. I think it's excusable this time because, you know, a lot has happened in these past 4 sessions.
Yeah, not for nothing. Yeah.
Well,
a lot's happened. It's like,
yeah, there was a lot of gaps.
Yeah, like
but
Corey lost an arm, Kira got mind fucked, Ricky changed his race, Ark's race got revealed. So it's just like a lot's happened.
Yeah,
and
you know,
Gosh is not mentally okay.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing too, I also feel like, because, you know, we sometimes have people who will, like, come into the streams and be like, you know, oh, you're this far already? Man, I don't know what's going on. I feel like these are pretty good ways for people to, like, understand, like, get a basic recap as to exactly what's happened, so the next session they are caught up.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think with that in mind, we should probably rename the chill streams to recap streams.
Yeah. I didn't know what to call them. I was even debating, like, you know, do I want to go down the cringe route and just be like, you know, return to the chill stream, like chill stream revengeance or some shit like that,
or chill stream electric boogaloo.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I can't think of anything.
Or
so
chill stream 2 Rise of Electro.
Yeah.
And
that's a fun fact. That's the Japanese name of in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's Rise of Electro.
And chill stream revengeance. I want Strahd in a sombrero now.
Adios, amigos.
And in this episode of Curse of Strahd, we're here to wonder why Rahedin is packing such an enormous bakery.
No.
Would you like some croissants?
No, it's like Sugash confronts Strahd. That's a nice argument. Why did you back it up with a source? My source is I made it the fuck up.
My source is I made it the fuck up.
Also, if I can say something really funny.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good.
During the last show stream, I thought for some reason that Arx being a reborn race, I forget, was already revealed and made known because we knew, because like we put the character sheets. Like we put our character sheets in a little
Yeah, we have a
chat.
chat specifically for putting your character sheets
Yeah.
in, just so they're all there and so I can see them.
Right.
Yeah, we saw that Ark was reborn, so like we would know that.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason, I thought everyone knew that, so I almost said it out loud.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, that. I remembered that. Yeah, and then you said, what about Ark being dead? And we're like, nope, we haven't gotten there
No,
yet.
we didn't.
I was the first one. I think I was the first one to go. No.
Yeah.
I didn't finish the sentence. I don't think I finished. I don't remember.
You didn't, but I was like, shush! Spoilers.
Boypers? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
I
didn't
wasn't.
mean it, but it was a funny moment.
I didn't. I. It's a good thing we know now.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that
Thank
yeah.
God you guys didn't metagame about
Right,
it.
but that's essentially what that was. Like what TP was alluding to was the reborn race.
I wouldn't have metagamed about it necessarily. It's more just
No, I'm not saying you did. It's just I'm glad you guys, even with this knowledge, didn't immediately think, "Oh, you're a reborn," even though your characters would have no reason for thinking so. So, for taking as long as you did as characters, for Ricky to be the first one to say, "Hey, Ark, are you dead?" After coming up with the threads himself.
Yeah.
Ricky is really the only one who'd put that 2 and 2 together anyway.
Yeah, he really was, because...
Yeah, and then the boy went and said, "We have a name for people like you. It's called Reborn."
Yeah, and thus we went with that. But
It's
like if you were an audience, if you're an audience member and you're familiar with that class, you'll have picked up from day one what Ark was. I mean, I made no secret about how I was like, yeah, the first session it starts at a dinner party. Like Ricky and Ark were the only people that were actually not partaking in any of the eating. I think I had Ark was actually more interested playing with the freaking silverware. He was bending the knives and spoons and shit. So it's he wasn't. So from the fucking beginning, it was there.
Yeah, it's the same reason why, despite the conversation happening, none of us know what it is that Strahd said to Kira when she was abducted, because we weren't there for that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We as players know, but
we gotta play
as our characters don't.
Yeah. And
I keep forgetting the term for it, but it's a type of narrative device where the audience knows something, but the characters have no idea.
It's called. I think it's called. I want to say it's called dramatic irony.
Dramatic irony, yeah.
Because that was literally one of the big themes to the story of Odysseus, not Odysseus, Oedipus. Because it's he'd be sitting there talk about how his people would be like, oh, your father was murdered, he was killed, and then he'd be like, I swear I will avenge my father and kill the man who did him in, not knowing that it was him.
Yeah, not to mention that he also married his mom.
Kira's
back.
I am so sorry. The power glitched on me.
ooh.
Aw.
Oh fuck. Yeah, don't worry about it. We were having a pretty good discussion about dramatic irony and how you guys were really good about keeping to its roots.
Yeah, and how I almost blabbered about one of the spoilers by accident.
Specifically about Ark's true race and how we were all going no spoilers.
I didn't realize it was a spoiler at the time.
Right.
No, Jen, Strahd's trying to mess with your internet.
Oh no.
Fucking vampires.
It's always the fucking vampire.
These aren't just creatures of the night. They're things of evil.
You just look out your window. He's making kissy faces at you.
It's like a Strahd the cable guy.
Oh god! Imagine Strahd with a southern drawl. Hey, my lady Kira, you want to go to my castle so we can have some alone time together? We'll turn on the cable and drink some beer.
Oh my god!
Cursed.
Amazing.
Jordan, you did that too well.
Keep in mind, it's because I live in a southern region. You would be surprised how many people sound like that.
Jordan, I swear
All
to fuck,
Americans sound to me.
Jordan, you better keep that accent for an NPC in the next session, please.
I mean,
Well, didn't you give
Eric
yeah,
has a southern
that-
accent,
that-
but he's not a womanizer.
Yeah, that's what
He's a sweet ball.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's like, wait a minute, we technically have a southern boy. We got a southern ogreish, technically.
Yeah.
I still like
sang a song faster and everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's fucking... Oh my god, I had this scary image of fucking Strahd as a cowboy.
Oh god, like
No,
Strahd
in fucking overalls and a straw hat.
Yeah, Strahd as Striker from Hell of a Boss.
Oh Jesus!
Oh no!
Oh no!
No, but Kara, I'm just Strahd with a straw hat.
Well, I mean,
God has
one of the nicknames I did give us.
How does Sam Riegel be the shameless?
Because Sam Riegel embarrasses himself on his own terms.
But that's why we love him.
Yeah.
It's also the reason why he sang this one song that I will not name on the stream because it's really not safe for work. Just the title alone is not safe for work. Wait, you really want to know what it is?
I have no idea. I'm just here for chaos.
That's true.
Good time as any.
It's like I think out of everyone, Corey, you encourage the most chaos, but I have yet to allow you to play as a chaotic character.
I'm an agent of chaos.
Let me be chaotic now.
You know what? If we ever do another long form campaign, I will encourage you to be a chaotic character.
Yeah, honestly, the guy I was thinking of playing for the Ravnica thing with Boone is probably gonna be pretty chaotic. Not evil though, but just chaotic. But yeah, I'd like the next character to be evil. I think that'd be good.
It's funny because when I was making Axis Bone, he is a chaotic neutral character. Like I said, he's a fucking gremlin. He is a gremlin of a bone creature.
Mm-hmm. But can you blame him?
No, because fuck the aristocrats.
Oh no!
Fuck Wall Street. Fuck Fantasy Wall Street.
I'm kind of worried because Kira is a noble aristocrat.
Then you have a lot to look forward to.
Concern.
It's like, keep a close eye on that one.
Yeah, and yeah, it's like, yeah, and it's like, and like, I know you talked about the bone creature, but you didn't talk about your pet.
Oh, yeah, Jeff, the rat creature. And for the record, yes, it is in fact a reference to the creator Jeff Smith. That is the reason I named him that.
Yeah.
He's just a baby rat creature who Axis rescued.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't care if that's like doesn't fit at all in D&D. I am fucking doing it because it's like that's too good to pass up. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Like Smiley Bone has Bartleby.
Oh my god.
Alright, so I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we need to talk about? Or does anyone else have any other questions?
Yeah, let's chat. Do you have any further questions? Like, either for us or just about the campaign in general?
I know I had a bunch of questions last time.
I know
I
I
have
need
several
to.
questions.
I know I need to ask. Well, I mean, this is going to be an in-character thing that I need to ask Sergey a certain question.
But that's an in-character thing. Not
I mean, you can save it for the next session.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I wish my Alfred Molina impression were better though, but I like voicing Sergey. He's very relaxed.
I hope we get. I hope to get some fun interactions with Sergey.
Like, the power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
In the palm of your paw.
Wait, in the paw of your hand.
That's it. I'm leaving.
Badoo.
Goodbye.
Mimi, no.
Intelligence isn't a privilege, young man. It's a gift, and you use it for the benefit of mankind.
Let's see. I guess
How's the chat looking? Oh,
I guess there's not really any. There hasn't really been an update. I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, unless the chat has something, I think we pretty much have all of our bases covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also like to remind people that daylight savings is happening tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh,
Yeah.
So technically,
is that
for
a
all
good
those,
thing or a bad thing? I keep forgetting.
we lose an hour of sleep.
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
Fuck.
Yeah, clock goes ahead an hour.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
we
so-
lose an hour. Great.
I like sleep though.
I mean, you can still sleep. It's just the clock will be fucked up.
Yeah, me as a night shift person, the fuck is sleep?
Me as a person with sleeping problems, the fuck is sleep?
Me
I haven't
who
slept
doesn't-
normally for like almost 6 years, 7 years.
Okay.
Sleep? What is that? Asks my cat.
What's that?
Oh,
Lika.
we have a question.
Oh.
What's the hardest class you have ever played as?
Druid.
Druid.
I mean, I even like there was a one shot that Jordan did that I decided, you know what, I'm
The Eclepia.
yeah, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to brave it and try out the Druid, and I specifically played the freaking Druid class where you're more focused on summoning rather than actual shifting. So
Yeah, Circle of the Shepherd.
yeah. So, because I figured, okay, that'll be a lot easier because, like, I don't have to worry about keeping a list of animals I can transform into. It's just, I'm more summoning spirits and shit. I still had a hard time trying to grasp how to play Druid.
You're
I
all
thought
gonna laugh
Wildfire
at me.
Druid was pretty... Oh, sorry.
It's okay. You're all gonna laugh at me.
No,
The
go
cla-
ahead. Try us.
The class that I actually had the hardest to play was the fucking paladin.
Fair.
I mean,
don't know.
Paladin has a couple weird things, like the pool of health. I still can't figure it out what it means.
I honestly find Druid not too bad, but I was Wildfire Druid, so I don't know, maybe that's a bit easier.
Okay.
Honestly, I think Barbarian's the hardest for me, just because I keep fucking forgetting to Reckless Attack.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard. And bird up.
I can't really think of a class that was really hard for me to play because honestly, all the classes that I've played as honestly kind of transition into each other rather similarly. Like I was fighter, I played monk, I played paladin. Like they're all like your DPS guys.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, anything involving magic. I even had trouble with Eldritch Knight to the point where Dion and Boone yelled at me for the simplest things.
Yeah.
It's like, stop yelling at me! I'm trying to learn this.
Stop yelling at me, Jesus Christ!
But honestly, I haven't played Druid myself. I'm going to, but I know from the outset that it's a difficult class because of how many things there are to manage. Especially if you pick classes that either revolve around wild shape or, certain types of spell casting. Because they have their own set of rules, and not to mention, you also prepare your spells each and every day you wake up, like clerics. So it's like another layer of complication. That being said, I can't really tell you what the hardest class I've played so far is, except maybe Wizard, and that's when I was just starting out playing D&D with my brother. I made a really bad choice because Wizard is like a silly thing to jump into. Like, if you want a good magic class to jump into, pick Sorcerer. Because
Warlock,
you only learn one spell per level, there's not a lot to manage. And the main thing, too, is you get to play with meta magic.
Haha, Grisco Burr.
Yeah, I mean that's like
Yeah,
it's like in like all like campaigns, one shots or whatever. I've tried out most of the classes. I think like the only ones I've not I've not tried myself yet has been like, I've not tried sorcerer, I've not tried wizard, I have not tried artificer, I've not tried ranger, but I have at least tried everything else in some capacity.
I really like spellcasting because, like I said, I love charisma characters. That's why I like playing bards, wizards,
Warlocks.
bard. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, wizards are intelligence, by the way.
yeah. That's bad.
I'm trying to think of TP. Did you say which class was the hardest for you?
But also have a good reason for that. I have not played that many classes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So I think, like, with that in mind, I do not think I could give an honest answer that I don't think I can give an honestly good answer. And all that being said, I guess between the two, the two that I've primarily played as, obviously I've played as more, but between the two I've played as the most, I guess sorcerer was a little harder to understand because with clerics, you technically had all the spells you could have. You just had to pick which ones to use because based on your whatever, based on your level and your modifier.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for spellcasters, you could only use this many spells. Once you picked the spells, that was it. You could change the spells whenever you leveled up. Like, you could change a spell if you leveled up, but otherwise, you were basically more or less stuck with what you had.
Okay. All right, yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah. It's a good general question. I like that.
Yee.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say I'm very limited myself, TP, because I've had more DM experience than player experience, which normally it's the other way around for most other people.
Which is, I know, not entirely a bad thing. But I figured, but I know you want to play some more.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I'm really hoping that the one-shots that we're going to be doing, which, by the way, people that are going to be one-shots for, that other people in our little friend group are going to be running, so, look forward to those too. But, I'm hoping those one-shots really, help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And who knows?
actually, now
Maybe.
now that you bring that up, TP, there is a one shot that is going to be coming up. It's going to be on April 9th, and that is actually going to be hosted by Boone.
Now,
well,
it's not going to be live streamed like
Yeah,
our Curse
he's gonna record it.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean,
so-
you're still gonna play, but he's gonna record and do some editing and shit afterwards, and he's gonna put that up on his channel. So when that's ready to go, like when he's ready to upload, I'll let you guys know, so that way I can link properly to it. You know, because I did,
Yeah.
because like Ryan recently did a big update video for the Spiffy Deal Geeks channel, and one of the things that I specifically said was like, yeah, we're gonna be doing more Curse of Strahd, but we're also gonna be sprinkling in some chill streams and some one shots in between. And whenever a one shot happens, if it's going to be streamed or recorded, I would let you guys know. So yeah, I'm letting you guys know we have one coming up. It's gonna be on April 9th, and I'll be sure to link when it's ready, but that will not be hosted on this channel. It will be hosted on Boonslayer's channel.
which aptly I think is called Boonslayer. So
Yes.
easy to find. So as for the next Curse of Strahd game, wait, you already said that, didn't you?
Well, April 9th. So I mean, that was April 9th is the one shot. So before that, it's
March 26th. Yes.
Yeah. So
March 26th is going to be our last Curse of Strahd game for a while. So after the April 9th one shot, we'll come right back with April 23rd.
It's gonna be such a long wait.
So after March is basically we're gonna it's after the next session. It's gonna be basically another month-long wait.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a month. I mean, we waited a month and a half between sessions before, so.
Yeah. So nothing new. Plus, it gives me time to prepare. But yeah.
Part of me just kind of wishes it was more than bi-weekly. Not bi-weekly, every other week.
I mean,
but I also know.
Yeah, I've also got my own shit to deal with. Not very good shit either. So,
yeah. Not to mention Danny and Brian.
Everyone has their own
else,
messes to stay on top of. So,
but I know.
Yes.
But I know specifically though. You also have real life to deal with. So.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you don't want to. Plus, even though I know a lot of people love D&D, it's like don't be that one person that's like, oh, I gotta host this game on every week, and I gotta host this game on every week. That drains people. Like it really does.
Yeah, like fun fact. Before we decided to work this into a chill stream, we initially just had this set as another day for the campaign, but
Jordan wanted a break.
Yeah,
Jordan wanted a break.
I want a break.
And
yeah.
I didn't want to be blunt about it, but I'm getting a little burnout from DMing.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean,
If you need a longer break, then I don't think anyone will mind either.
Yeah. It's like
It's just
And to be fair, like it's been a while since I've done this, but even like
Been a while.
before we really got into Curse of Strahd, I was doing a couple of streams like kind of help like bringing the audience in more into D&D, and one of the things that we were doing was like people in the audience, they would suggest, hey, they would give me like a character concept, and right then and there I would whip up a character sheet based on what it is that they suggested. So they've done
okay.
That'd be really fun.
yeah, so I mean, they've done things like specific characters or just like general concepts. Like, like I've had people say like, what if you made like a Sailor Scout from Sailor Moon? Okay, I will try and whip up a character sheet real quick on what a sailor, how I would do a Sailor Scout. Somebody requested, like a Nightopian from Nights into Dreams. If you wanted to make a character like Knights, what would you do? Okay, this is how I personally would approach it. Someone asked me, okay, make a character sheet for Sans. Okay, I'll do that.
Oh my god!
Channeling your inner Tulak the Barbarian.
Right. Well, I mean, I didn't follow his for one thing, that was because I even go so far as I roll up the stats on stream and stuff that I think specifically with the Sans one, that's one where it's I'll roll up the stats except for Constitution. I am giving that one the lowest score possible. So it's his modifier. So yeah, Sans' Constitution modifier was fucking atrocious, but it fits the character, so it's yeah, we're gonna do this. But yeah, I haven't done streams like that in a little while, actually. So, this would probably be a good time to maybe bring that back. So it's okay, audience, give me suggestions, and I'll whip up character sheets on the spot. It's definitely a good way to exercise creativity and explore the different classes and what they have to offer.
Actually, you can even bring us into it, and it could be like a little thing. You can give us a weird prompt, and we go make a character that fits it the best.
Yeah.
Actually,
I was about to say, if I'm around for those, then yeah, I'd be down to join in too.
Yeah.
Actually, Danny, you know what would also be an interesting thing that we could bring this, another thing that you could potentially bring back, and it would still be tied into D&D. Since more so you, me, Jordan, and Jen have been watching it, we could do a Spiffy Needle Geek Out of Legend of Vox Machina.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Can
Yes. I can actually be part of one of those.
Can I also speak on that? How the fucking vampire thing comes into play again?
Yeah, that's the Briarwoods, but that's a whole thing in of itself.
Yeah. So
I know, but it's like I have never seen Vox Machina. I am completely new to
Like the
them.
stream, yeah.
Jordan, if you feel like you need to take a month-long break, go for it. It's like I can find stuff to fill in the time on a Saturday night.
Yeah, for sure.
Fucking vampire.
Plus, again, it would give me time to refamiliarize myself with the Curse of Strahd, because during this particular gap, I've actually been doing my own thing, not just creatively, but also monetarily. So yeah.
I need more money so I can commission Jordan more.
Mm-hmm.
I need more
commissions are
money.
open, and you can also subscribe to my Twitch channel. This sounds really gross. Like I know I need to do it so I can.
Plug.
I know I need to do it to survive, but I don't like taking things from people.
Plug that channel.
You're not taking it. We're giving it to you.
I need more money, and that's the end of the sentence.
Okay.
Same, bro.
I mean, I do tarot. I know, shameless plug as well. I do tarot card reading commissions if people are interested.
Terrace Moon on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Or on Discord. You need her code first, though, but yeah. Anyway.
I'm sorry.
No. I think at this point, we're reaching a decent conclusion here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As decent as it can get, anyway. But yeah, definitely keep a lookout for us in our various endeavors.
Except
And yeah, see you guys for the next Curse of Strahd session 11.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for coming and indulging in our silliness.
Yeah.
Well, hey.